Scotland. Stephen Robinson, the St Mirren manager, live here at Hampden Park with Cardina Town.
Yeah, Richard, I'm just having an off-mic chat with Stephen, who's asking me how I've got Celtic. Then I'm going to ask you, how have you got them down? Is it 3-4-3?
I think they can do whatever they want with that personnel. There's a 4-3-3 in there, obviously, Maeda and Tsuniki, and there's a 3-4-3, which is obviously his preferred system. So we're prepared for both. We don't change loads depending on the system we're playing against. It's about what we do and what we do in terms of aggression of our press and what we do when we land on the ball.
There's method to my madness in asking that question, because I was wondering maybe the uncertainty around Celtic at the moment, is that something that you as St Mirren can tap into? There's changes in formation, change in personnel.
Yeah, look, I think that's for everybody else to talk about. What I do know is if we beat Celtic today, it would be a huge shock, a massive shock. Celtic should win the cup every year. They should be in finals every single year. So, whether people say there is things not quite right or whatever terminology they're using, we know that Celtic are a very good side with very good players. And, they've lost 2 games. Certainly, I don't read into all the stuff that goes about them being in a crisis.
I wonder if I should challenge you on the recent games, because I watched your team play extremely well against Celtic. They needed a last-minute winner. I also saw the first game of the season where Celtic needed a late winner for a narrow 1-0 win, and then there was a 1-1 draw also this year. St Mirren have matched Celtic for a lot of the matches this season, haven't they?
We have, yeah. We've matched them tactically. We've matched them for large periods of the game. And they've had that little bit of brilliance. I think James Forrest came on the last game of the season. Callum scores a wonder goal. And that's the difference at times when you've got that kind of quality. But what it does give us is a huge belief. We have to turn up. We can't freeze with the occasion. Celtic are used to being here. Our boys aren't. So it's how we manage that occasion, because if we do, we've shown we can certainly compete.
You've been here before, twice as a cup final manager. How do you make it third time lucky for you? What do you need from your players today, Stephen?
Well, if I knew the answer to that, I'd be a rich man, wouldn't I? Listen, we know that it's fine lines in cup finals. We've earned the right to be here. We have to turn up and be the best version of ourselves. If we don't, we won't win the game. We have to be right at the very top of our game, and we've shown that we can do that against Celtic. And we've shown that we've got players that can really hurt them, and they have struggled to break us down at times, but also we've created a lot of chances. So it's about being clinical both ends, defending really, really well, but also when you land on the ball, you can't defend at Hampden for 96 minutes. You have to be brave. We have spoke to the boys about opportunity and having that faith over fear. Fear's for people that aren't prepared. We've got faith in what we do. We've faith in the personnel, and we've faith that we can get a result.
No wonder, because last time you were here, you scored 4 goals.
Yeah, I've had decent records up until the final at Hampden, to be fair, and the build up to it. They've proved that occasion didn't get to them. I don't think we started particularly well against Motherwell, so we have to start better in this game. And then it's about relaxing and playing our game. We've got a game plan. We have to try and carry that out and then show what a good side we are as well.
Lastly, I saw you chatting to, I think it was a young St Mirren fan just in the tunnel there, a huge big smile on his face. It's such a big day for yourselves, for the town, for all your supporters. I wonder if that plays in as well. This is potentially generational for St Mirren, is it? Yeah,
I've said to the players today, I got the cup final a long time ago, thought they'd come around every other year when you're young, and they don't. These opportunities come sometimes once in a lifetime. And I said to them, be the best version of yourself, grab it, because you're right, it means so much to so many people. We've got to try and play with calmness. We worry about the events afterwards and whether they can go down in history, but we have to concentrate on playing our game and being really brave.
Stephen, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Geraldine. Thank you.
Well, he's always very well prepared for every match. He leaves no stone unturned. And he clearly is, he's absolutely looking forward to the challenge that lies ahead. It was interesting that he clearly has a bit of doubt, Tomo, as to how Celtic are going to go. But he did say, we're prepared for both formations, but it won't change very much in terms of what we have to do to combat that.
No, I think we'll not find out the formation, obviously, until the game starts. Packy beside me has written down about 16 of them. Where's a tactics board when you need one? That's what I would say. But obviously St Mirren, as he said, regardless of what and formation and who they play against, they don't really differ. They play their own game, and he's trying to say to his players to go out and relax and play with a calmness. I get that, but it's very difficult to do. Easy to say, but difficult to put into practice in a final. And he's talking about the experience of the St Mirren players. A lot of them won't have experienced this. Marcus Fraser has, but for these players playing in a final, as he rightly points out, loads and loads, a high percentage of footballers never ever play in a final. So it's such a momentous occasion. It's how you deal with that that's really important on the day. And that's one wee concern I have for St Mirren, because when you look at Celtic, they've got guys that have been over the course with various clubs. Schmeichel, clearly. Tierney, McGregor, Maeda, Forrest's on the bench, but he'll be imparting all his wee gems to the players about these occasions. God knows he's won enough for them. So, you know, you look at that, and that experience can be big in situations like this. But the one thing you can't do is overthink it and get yourself in a fankle. You've got to just go out and give absolutely everything, every last sinew and every last ounce of what's in your body, and hope that it's enough on the day. But I mean, you know, you can tell that he's in a reasonably positive frame of mind, and he points out that despite Celtic not being at their best right now, and there's a bit of, I suppose you could say it's fractured slightly from what we've seen it in the past, Celtic Football Club just now, they still have better footballers, better players, and if they do manage to click and get it right today, then as I said earlier, it's going to be a tough old afternoon for St Mirren.
James, what is it that St Mirren have to alter if Nancy goes with a 4 rather than a 3? How significant is that in terms of what Stephen will have to do with his team?
I think it has maybe thrown him that it could be a 4, because he's spoken about watching his Columbus team and going through, you know, hours of video to see how they play, how they build up, where they look to attack, where they look to get overloads. But he's shown that when he's played his formation against a 4-3-3, that they have the answers to that as well, to be, you know, solid, to nullify the threats going forward and also offer something on the counter. I think that it won't alter too much, because his foundation is having his back 3 that can go into a 5, his solid midfield 3, and leave his 2 strikers up the pitch and make sure they're in a position where they know that if the ball's, whatever side the ball's on, the strikers are in the right position in relation to where the ball is. So that won't throw him too much in terms of his structure, but it will have him second guessing how to start the game. You know, he's been very conservative there in saying that he's not playing on the fact that, you know, Celtic are perceived to be in crisis. You can guarantee he'll be telling his players that they are, and to make sure they start in the right manner, put them under pressure, don't allow them to start fast and settle into the game and try and play on it. Of course they will, but he's played that down very well there. Guarantees telling his players. Yeah, I think he'll be much the same as what Tomo's just said. He'll have to wait and see how they line up.
Yeah, look, there's been a lot of guesswork going on, and I don't know to what extent Premier Sports it is informed that what they have done, but what the graphic they just threw up, of course, they are broadcasting it live. It is their tournament. They've gone with the back 3 of Ralston, Trusty and Scales. They have a Tunick, T right wing back, Tierney left wing back, Hatate, McGregor, and then Engels and Maeda supporting Iheanacho.
Yeah, I didn't have that formation written down.
That's the only one.
I'll be honest, I've just stuck with my initial, which I'm just going to wait until the kick-off, and then the arrows will be getting driven in.
I need to put another arrow on my page.
Arrows everywhere.
You get more arrows than Robin Hood.
I've never seen such confusion over a team selection in my life.
Everybody's confused, Tom.
Imagine what Stephen Robinson's like in the dressing room.
But it's fine for us to be confused. But these Celtic players better have clarity on this.
That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about us. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, and one of the key
I'm assuming you'll have told them,
Yeah,
Tom.
they're not just turning up and finding out right now.
I know,
This is a team, guess where you're playing.
you know what I'm talking about. Have clarity in the position that they have been picked.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem in 2 games. I think there's been a lack of clarity.
Yeah.
There's been confusion about what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and one of the key things is, of course, Stephen Robertson has had a week to prepare his team. You know, he's probably had them on the pitch, he's had them inside, he's been talking to them, he's relaxed them, but now Wilfred Nancy has very, very little time. Very little time. I think he said after the last game against Roma that he was going to give them 2 days rest.
Sorry, Packy, I'm just watching the warm-up. Tanecki is on the right-hand side, crossing balls in. Maeda's closer to Iheanacho in the finishing.
Well, hopefully he will be able to cross it into the box tonight or today, because he didn't do that on the left-hand side because he kept coming back onto his right foot. So at least he's in a natural side to put the ball into the box this time.
Yeah, and they're also warming up in a back four, but they've done that in the last 2 games and still played the back 3.
And just in terms of watching things, up on the screen just now, it showed you St Mirren going up to collect their winners' medals in 2013. Jim Goodwin looked incredibly young and shaven-headed, obviously. John McGinn looked like a baby, and Tomo looked exactly like he does now.
I didn't have a beard on the day.
He's the only one with the black hair. What's going on here, Tomo?
There's certainly no dye in it, if you're going to try and suggest that.
Oh, a bit defensive there, Tomo. Are you sure?
Oh, very defensive.
Nobody was even thinking
it's something I get a lot from people, and I can confirm that there is no dye.
Are you sure?
Yeah, if you think back,
don't go out in the rain. Don't go out in the rain.
Didn't even think of it.
Think back to that time, Tomo, and the mentality that the players need. Obviously, you beat Celtic in the semi-final, but even that takes an awful lot of doing, doesn't it, for any team?
It does. I think you forget that we went up to Pittodrie in the quarter-final as well. So the run to the actual final itself was extremely difficult, and I think with each passing game, we kind of grew in confidence. In the canteen at Ralston, where the training ground there was a kind of road to Hampden map, if you like, and with each game that we passed, we would stick up the next one, and at the end of it obviously was Hampden Park. Not that it meant anything, but when we won the game against Aberdeen, we came into the game against Celtic. Nobody is expecting us to win that game, and Stephen Robinson, you heard him say there, every single player needs to bring a top performance. That's what happened the day we beat Celtic here in the semi-final. Every single player. John McGinn in midfield, just coming fresh into the team, was absolutely smashing folk about, just as and he didn't have the thighs he does now, the strength he does now, but he had the tenacity, and every one of our players reached an 8+ performance. That's what Stephen Robinson's talking about, because that is largely what you need to go and beat Celtic in any game. So St Mirren need to reach those heights, and obviously then in the final, I think we'd be underdogs against Hearts as well. We didn't play as well as we did in the semi-final, but what we did do on that occasion was we scored at absolutely pivotal moments in the game, right before half-time. Mine was straight after half-time, 46 minutes, from when Hearts really should have been 2 or 3 up in the game in the first 40 minutes. All of a sudden, start the second half, the psychology of everything changed, and we were 2-1 up, and then obviously Connor Newton scores that world, and then we're 3-1 up, and at that point in time I thought, right, this is it, we've done it. An incredible feeling.
And those St Mirren players will be hoping to experience that very thing this afternoon. I just wonder how will this got sort of done earlier on, James, in terms of Stephen Robinson, and saying, look, clearly privately he may well be pointing out to Celtic or to his players that Celtic are a bit of a wounded animal right now, but does he and they have to have the same mindset as if this was a Celtic team who had been blowing everyone away and still scoring goals and still exciting the fans?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you can come here and acknowledge the fact that Celtic haven't been at their best, but still with the not the fear, but in your mind that they could be at their best. And as Tomo says, regardless of where Celtic are at the minute, St Mirren under Stephen Robinson, his whole tenure, Motherwell were the same. When they are at their best, they're a match for anyone, even if they're at their best. But the key to that is every single player needs to be at it. It's about the team and how the team functions, and make sure you do your job. And look, I think the big point Tomo made there is probably the best one, that if you get an opportunity, you have to make sure you take it, because you don't get too many. And look, the way Celtic are playing, you might get more than usual, but you still have to take them. You still have to, add to the pressure that Celtic potentially could be feeling. But yeah, ultimately, they need to prepare for the best version of Celtic. This is a cup final, and it might be a case of sometimes you get, instruction for the manager, and that's a basis to play from a Celtic point of view. But you've got players that, as Tomo mentioned earlier again, are used to playing in these games, that step up. Callum McGregor, he's been referenced by the manager. James Forrest, I know he's on the bench, but they've got players that step up when required and maybe go against and not to, you know, be against the manager, but decide that this moment is something that is not about structure, it's not about a system, it's about taking the moment and taking control of the moment and stepping up. And Celtic have those players, they have had them throughout their career, and they have them in their team. So for St Mirren, it's about doing what you believe in, sticking to it and working hard as a team. And if they do that, they have a right chance regardless of how well Celtic play.
The St Mirren players have already made their way back up the tunnel. They're in the dressing room. Final words of wisdom, no doubt, from the manager. Just 16 minutes until the game gets up and running. The Celtic players still out there, just finishing off their warm-up. The stadium filling up very nicely indeed, as you would anticipate for this first major final of the 2025-26 season. There are Premiership action this afternoon as well, of course. It was a 3 o'clock kickoff at Pittodrie, early stages there between Aberdeen and Kilmarnock. Willie Miller, what's been happening so far?
Just 14 minutes on the clock, and Richard, not a great deal of action, I must say, for both the teams. The Kilmarnock have matched up. They've got the 3 at the back as well as Aberdeen have. They're kind of cancelling each other out at this moment in time. The weather has calmed down a bit. It was very windy and the rain had come on, but it's perfect condition for it. But we're not seeing much in terms of excitement in either box. It's pretty even possession-wise. I think maybe Aberdeen just having the edge, but there's still... this game is still to explode into action, I would suggest, Richard.
Well, let's hope it does for you, Willie. Still Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 0. We are building up, of course, to the Premier Sports Cup final. St Mirren against Celtic will be live here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
My Christmas mix is pure 90s festive nostalgia. You know, the Christmas songs you listen to on repeat.
No. I'm all about the big hitting Christmas anthems.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Come on, guys. What about those tunes that really slay? It's Christmas kitchen disco season, surely.
Get all kinds of Christmassy.
Just search Christmas music
on BBC Sounds.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Sports Sound.
That is a beautiful finish!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
That is massive!
So the Celtic players in the main, some of the subs still out there, but they too, like the St Mirren players, made their way up the tunnel. And this, I guess, I mean, I'd imagine James, not an awful lot is, in fact, James not with us at the moment, but Tomo is. Presumably not an awful lot said by managers at this stage. Everything's been said, has it, or is it just a few final words?
All the kind of video analysis and the preparation in terms of structure of the team and organisation and who's doing what is done yesterday. This morning, I'd imagine, they tried to keep things as normal as possible. They didn't go to a hotel last night. They had their pre-match meal at Ralston at the training ground. Just keep everything as it is for probably normal home games. But the one thing that I would imagine there'll be some form of rousing speech. Doesn't need to be long at all. It could be 30 seconds from the manager. When we were here, we had videos from supporters and things played out on a television, and a kind of wee collage made to get us inspired. And then both Tommy Craig and Danny Lennon spoke really well before the game. And it's all, you know, it's very difficult to come up with something new in a final to say. It's about, and Stephen Robinson said the same thing, these opportunities don't come around often, especially for a club like St Mirren. You've got to take the opportunity, don't leave anything out there on the pitch, no regrets, and just go and do yourself proud is what you've got to say. But I mean, generally at this stage everything's done, and then it's just the final wee thing from the manager, and usually they'll have something inspirational to say. But up until you actually step out and you've shaked the hands, and you know, those 10 seconds before the referee kicks or blows the game to start, that's when it all gets real.
Right, let's go quickly to Pittodrie. There's been a goal, Willie Miller.
There has been, and it's gone to the visitors just in 17 minutes. A huge error from Topi Keskinen, giving away possession, and Brown latching onto it. Lovely pass inside both centre backs, Devlin and Jack Milne as well, and it was John Jules who latched onto it. Richard, he's got the goalkeeper to beat, but you've got to show a lot of calmness, and he certainly did that. He just got his boot under the ball, just clipped it over Mitov coming out and it nestled into the back of the net to give Kilmarnock the lead here at Pittodrie.
Willie, thank you very much indeed. Looking for that first win in 10 league matches. Kilmarnock just 2 points picked up during that time, but they have the advantage at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1, just a second goal of the season for Tyrese John Jules. Well, we are now moving inexorably towards kick-off time here in the Premier Sports Cup final. It is St Mirren against Celtic. Tom English here, and you've heard both managers. Tom, you've had a chance to kind of soak up the atmosphere, listen to the pundits. I mean, it does have a, well, just as it always does, a major cup final has that special feel about it this afternoon, the promise that something might be about to unfold.
Yeah, there's intrigue, isn't there? I know Celtic are 1-6 amongst the betting, St Mirren 6-1. I just think that's a little bit, that doesn't really reflect the reality of today. But I'm intrigued to see what Celtic do. I think if their big game players turn up, they should win. And it's interesting to see what Faddy was saying about formations and systems and all the rest of it. This is where you need your leaders. This is where you need your senior players to step up and say, look, we've taken a lot of flack over the last couple of weeks. Today is the day that we show how good we can be. And I think if they do that, they should win the game. If they're weak again and confused, St Mirren are good enough to take this to the wire. So I'm really, really intrigued. Probably more intrigued in this cup final now than I might have been 3 or 4 weeks ago, before Celtic really started to wobble. And they were wobbling under Martin O'Neill as well. They just managed to get themselves over the line more often than not. But they're really wobbling now. But that said, they are good enough to find something today, find the best version of themselves. If they do that, I think they'll win. If they don't do that, we could be in for a humdinger.
James, Tomo was talking earlier about his St Mirren team, all the players, the ones that won in 2013 semi-final, final, they were all at 8.5 out of 10. Is that what Saints are going to need this afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that will definitely be the message from the manager, that they have to beat their best. I think, I said this a minute ago, that St Mirren, to win games, always have to beat their best. I think the way that they're set up, they always have to beat their best, because the structure they play in, the way the manager works is the demands he puts on them, and more often than not, when they're at their best, they win games. And this is a game, to become a legend of the club. This club, over the last number of years, 3 top 6 finishes, fantastic for St Mirren. But go and win a cup, that you go down in the history of the club. Tom will tell you that if you win something at a club like St Mirren, you'll be remembered forever. And that's a challenge, and it's a challenge that you want as a player. It's a great, motivation for you to go out and say, win this one game today, and you will be remembered at this club forever. That's a hell of a challenge, and I'm sure the players will be well up for that.
I appreciate, Pat, that point can be made for most cup finals. Yeah. But it is an extra incentive. Celtic win this League Cup, those players don't become legends. St Mirren win it, those players absolutely do. They go in the Hall of Fame, they go up on the walls of the stadium in Paisley, don't they?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I won 1 League Cup when I was here all those years, way back in '81. It was a day like this, actually. Well, the rain's gone off now, but it was against Rangers, and of course that was a big game because it was Rangers. But in terms of being a legend, I think Celtic is about championships, it's about trebles, it's about all of those things, European football, all that. For St Mirren, winning any cup and you go down in the history from that point of view. But listen, the guys have already said it. This is a momentous occasion for St Mirren, and there is intrigue. Absolutely, what Tom says. We don't know how Celtic are going to play, but if you're in the dressing room now as a manager, you're reminding them of why they are in the Celtic team. Go out and perform. And Celtic have had a fantastic record here at Hampden. Really fantastic record over the years. So there should be nothing to fear here today for them. And that it's just that get off to the right start, get intensity into the game, do all the things that the manager's been talking about, and you should win this game. But if you don't do that, then it's going to be a struggle. That's what he'll be reminding about. Get out there, start off on the right foot, on the front foot, and with intensity, and the game will just fall into place for them.
Is it the sort of game, James, where the first few minutes can dictate how it is going to unfold?
Yeah, it certainly can. I think, Stevie Robinson referenced the game against Motherwell. Motherwell started the first 10 minutes. I mean, St Mirren were pegged back and couldn't get out, but they managed to ride that storm and go on and in the end win the game comfortably. But I think it's one where, particularly for St Mirren, they have to make sure they don't concede an early goal, because all the talk has been about the new manager coming in, the change of formation, the players, do they know what they're doing, is it suited to the players they have? And for St Mirren, it's about reinforcing that, making sure that they don't give Celtic any encouragement, but also for them to take part in the game. They can't come here and let the occasion get the better of them, and that can certainly happen in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the game. So they have to come out and make sure that, listen, there's no pressure on St Mirren to go and take the game to Celtic. The pressure is on them to be solid, be hard to play against, be a horrible team, what St Mirren are best at, and then put the pressure on to Celtic. Make sure that you relieve the pressure by getting the ball to your strikers and making sure that they hold it up and they can link up and drive the team up the pitch. But certainly, it can set the tone the first 10, 15 minutes for the rest of the game, and it can make it a long, long afternoon, particularly if you concede an early goal. If St Mirren go and score an early goal, then that is absolutely ideal for them, because they don't need any extra encouragement to be hard to beat, to be solid, to be defensively, to defend crosses coming into the box, to put their bodies on the line, to get blocks. That's all in St Mirren's makeup. So if they can get an early goal, then it sets the tone brilliantly for them. But the biggest concern for them will be, make sure you don't concede early, make sure you don't give any encouragement to Celtic, because if they do that, then they are top players, and sometimes that's all it takes to get your team firing from a Celtic point of view.
Yeah, Richard, we talked about crosses into the box from St Mirren. I think set pieces today could be another telling factor. Celtic have proven that they're not good on set pieces. They only have Scales, they only have Trusty. Maybe Iheanacho might be, but he's a striker. No disrespect on his strikers. Coming back doing a defensive job from the set piece. You normally sit in the front post and do your bit there, but man for man marking. They don't have height, and I'm looking at St Mirren. They probably have the three centre backs. They have probably the lads up front. Gogic himself.
Phillips is huge.
Phillips is good. They're all good height in that team, so that could be a telling factor today.
Look, the build-up is almost over. The Flames have been arrowing out of the boxes that are lined around the pitch, the legal pyrotechnics that they are using in here inside Hampden Park. The stadium being illuminated by flashing lights all around the side of the roof. And of course the already darkening skies here on the south side of Glasgow, mid-December, for the first major cup final of the campaign. There are two plinths, two podiums down by the side of the pitch, in between the two technical areas. On one sits the Scottish League Cup trophy, the famous old trophy, now of course the Premier Sports Cup. On the other sits the match ball, which I see is rotating as it awaits the referee, Kevin Clancy, to make his way along the tunnel area, pick the ball up and lead the teams out onto the Hampden turf. The St Mirren fans off to our left have got a display with the black, white and gold pieces of paper that have all been held up. It's a colourful scene off to our left. To our right, there's simply two little hand-written banners that say "End the pantomime, lift the bands." That perhaps sums up where this final lies in the great overall picture of Celtic and St Mirren right now. Massive afternoon for both, but of course for St Mirren, a rare chance to put major silverware in the trophy room at the stadium. It's still Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1 at Pittodrie. We'll keep you up to date on that fixture in the Premiership, which kicked off at 3 o'clock. The action is about to kick off here at Hampden Park. It is St Mirren against Celtic in the Premier Sports Cup final. It is live here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland. More to come later from Tom English and, of course, from James McFadden. Your commentary team are Pat Bonner, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
And the 80th League Cup final. Celtic, of course, the holders, after beating Rangers on penalties last December to win it for the 22nd time. That after a 3-all thriller And it was Daisen Maeda who scored the decisive spot kick. It's the 16th time St Mirren and Celtic have gone head-to-head in the League Cup. Celtic have won 11 to Saints 4, and it's the first time they've met in this competition since the 2012-13 semis, when Saints went on to win this trophy for the only time. They've also won 3 Scottish Cups in their history, 4 major honours. Can they add to that this afternoon? They'll have to improve on their record against Celtic just now. They're 15 games without a win over them since O'Hara and Ayunga scored in September 2022. Celtic had 80% of the ball that day, but it was St Mirren who won the match. And Stephen Robinson is one of only 6 St Mirren managers to have gotten the better of Celtic in the last 4+ decades. And Ricky McFarlane, Tony Fitzpatrick, Gus McPherson, Daniel Lennon, Jim Goodwin and Robinson himself. But that is his only win over Celtic in 31 attempts. What a time it would be to get his second. And the Saints contest their 4th League Cup final. Celtic, it's old hat to them. This is their 38th League Cup final. They've won 22 of them. And Callum McGregor down there has won it 8 times. Marcus Fraser, the Saints skipper's won it as well. He was part of the Ross County team. They beat Celtic en route to the trophy. And the Staggies beat Hibs in the final in 2016. How things have downturned for them in recent years. But for this current St Mirren team, top 6 finishes, European football. Robinson's brought it all to the club. He said he wanted a deep cup run at some point. Well, he can't get any deeper than the final. And he's led them to the showpiece under the lights here. And has been a windswept rainy day in Glasgow. The conditions have eased. It's double-digit Celsius as well, so perfect conditions for the match. Celtic are going to kick off in the green and white hoop shirts, shooting right to left towards the west stand end, where the St Mirren fans, the majority of them are housed in that southwest corner off to our left. St Mirren in their black and white stripes, looking to repeat what they did in the semis and that wonderful performance against Motherwell. As Celtic kick off, Saints nominally listed as the home team, so they will come first on score checks as Anthony Ralston picks up and launches it all the way through, and it comes all the way through to Shamal George, who starts in goal for Saints. Fraser, King, Freckleton, Gogic, McMenamin, Phillips, Bacchus and John, and Lundaloo and Ayunga. Celtic with Schmeichel in goal. And we'll just wait and see when the match settles as to how they're going to set things up. Looks like Tierney is the left wing back. Ralston, Trusty, Scales, Tenecti over on the other side. With McGregor, Engels, Hitate, Maeda and Iheanacho completing the lineup for the holders and favourites. But here comes St Mirren down the right with McMenamin down by the corner flag. Scales defends it well and gets it clear, but it's broken inside the penalty area here for Lundaloo. Right-hand side of the Celtic box, he looks to shoot and wins the corner off McGregor. The first corner of the final in the first minute goes to St Mirren, Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, putting Celtic under pressure early on. It was a great first-time pass from Killian Phillips into the feet of Lundaloo in the edge of the box. He manages to get turned, and then he's got a couple of players facing him up. Callum McGregor's one of them. Makes half a yard for the shot, gets it away, but McGregor sticks his toe out and turns it round for the corner. We said set plays could be big.
Promising start for St Mirren. This Keanu Bacchus is over the corner on this near side. The St Mirren right as they attack the east end of the stadium, and it comes into the box. The header, it's in! St Mirren score! 90 seconds into the match, and it's their captain Marcus Fraser who nods the corner into the far corner off the post. The most sensational, incredible of starts for St Mirren, who lead the holders, the beleaguered holders, and the man who won it with Ross County gets the goal. St Mirren 1, Celtic 0. The dream start for the Paisley side.
Sorry, Pat.
Yeah, go on, Steve.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the ball in from Bacchus is perfect into the middle of the 6-yard box. Marcus Fraser rises first, and it is a brilliant header from him. He's having to contort his body and his neck and manages to get the ball directed towards the goal. It goes in off the post. Schmeichel helpless. What a start.
Well, listen, we talked about Celtic's weakness in set pieces right before we came on to do the commentary, and it was Hatate picking up Marcus Fraser. Outmatched, no chance to even deal with it. And ball's put into that sort of almost 7 yards out. He just bends his neck and steers it on target, and it comes in off the back post. But that's the weakness for Celtic, and St Mirren has exploited it. 1-0, game on.
Could be in for a proper match here now. After that, St Mirren get their first goal, one of the earliest scored in League Cup final history. And Marcus Fraser, almost a decade after lifting the trophy with Ross County, desperate to get his hands on it again. And Celtic have more troubles, Packie Bonner.
Yeah, that's incredible. You know, listen, it's so early in the game. They've had lots and lots of time to pull this back, of course, but that's not the start you want when you're low in confidence. And it gives St Mirren now the opportunity to play their game. Just go and you know, frustrate Celtic. They're 1-0 up. Even if they lose a goal, they're still in this game. But that is Celtic's absolute weakness. And we did say they don't have the height. They don't have players who can match up with St Mirren. St Mirren have got probably 4 or 5 big players. Mark, we didn't even actually mention Marcus Fraser in when we were talking about the strength they have in the air.
Here comes Celtic though, midway inside the St Mirren half. It's McGregor spreading the play, wide left for Kieran Tierney. Tierney rolls it into the box to Engels, back to goal, shoves it back out wide left for Maida, level with the penalty spot. Here's Engels to Tierney. Tierney looking for a little bit of room here up against McMenamin. He plays it out to Scales, he'll return it to Tierney on this near side up against Killian Phillips, who blocks the cross. But Scales will try and keep it alive, but McMenamin pinches it off him and goes down and wins the free kick for St Mirren to take the pressure off.
Yeah, just overcomplicated, I think, out on this left-hand side. Again, trying to get into the perfect position to put the cross in. And I think it could have come in earlier. And eventually, when Tierney tried to cross the ball in, it was blocked. And they end up losing it, and they end up giving away that free kick, and it puts St Mirren again on the front foot.
I mean, if you're a St Mirren player, you're Stephen Robinson, you would have dreamt of this, but scarcely believed it.
Absolutely, Liam. I mean, I think, you know, we talked about it before the game, and the fragility of Celtic right now, and the new manager coming in and things not going well for them.
Yeah, here comes St Mirren again. McMenamin up to the edge of the Celtic box on the turn. He shoots. It's a comfortable take for Kasper Schmeichel. His Hampden problems continue after his recent visits here with Celtic in the Scottish Cup final, which they lost to Aberdeen, and goes spectacularly with the Danish national side. Celtic gave it away, but won it back anyway through Hatate, wide on the right for Sebastian Tenekti. Starting out there on that far side for Celtic, north stand side, driving forward, pulls it back, and Gogic is there to clear, doing the job he's in the team to do. And St Mirren scrape the ball away. They lead 1-0 in the League Cup final, which is only 5.5 minutes old.
Yeah, listen, you know, the ball comes back to Schmeichel. It was easy for him. But he tries that side volley again. He tried so many of them during the week against Roma, and they were cut out in midfield, and that one was, so he did want it back and put themselves maybe under attack, but he's got to be more careful with what he's doing when he's distributing that ball.
Celtic with Scales on the near side, forward low ball to Iheanacho, left of the centre circle, works it out to Tierney on this left flank. Scales goes in the overlap, he uses Maida infield instead. Maida looking for Scales in the left side. It's a foul by Liam Scales on McMenamin, and it will be a St Mirren free kick deep inside their own half.
Such a stupid foul to give away from Celtic's point of view. McMenamin's facing his own goal. He's a yard from the touchline. He's either got to kick it out for a throw or give away a corner, and Scales, for the second time in the space of 3 minutes, gives away a needless foul on this left-hand side.
It's interesting how high Scales is.
Really high
too. You know, he's a left centre back, but he's been allowed to go all the way up into St Mirren's half on a couple of occasions now.
Wilfred Nancy down there with his hands in his pockets. Things could scarcely have got off to a worse start for him as Celtic manager. Brendan Rodgers' replacement. Rodgers for so long was the king of this place. Here comes Celtic down the right, slip forward to Kelechi Iheanacho. He's level with the St Mirren 18-yard line on the Celtic right. Rolls it back to McGregor. Square ball in field for Ralston, who does likewise for Scales. Celtic high up the pitch here, wide on the left it's Tierney. Shows too much of it to McMenamin. He manages to get a toe onto it. Tierney still has it though. He's managed to get the cross in. It's behind Iheanacho. And it breaks all the way through to the other side for Tenecti, who's on to it here, level with the St Mirren 6-yard line. Tenecti takes it towards the byline now, into the box, then he slips, and that's going to allow Declan John to get between he and the ball. And St Mirren will get it cleared. It's important for St Mirren, they've got that early goal, which they're absolutely delighted about. But if they can just hold on to that lead, bed themselves into the match with that lead, then they've got every chance of sapping away the morale of this Celtic side.
No, they're particularly good when they are in the lead at just making things difficult for the opposition. They're good at it when they're not even in the lead. And now they don't need to go and chase the goal. And as Celtic do commit more numbers forward, then St Mirren will be looking to take advantage of that in the counter.
And Lundaloo over on that far side, nice little spin as he drives down the left-hand touchline. Up against Trusty. And Lundaloo, he's giving it away though, he passes it back towards the halfway line, he's giving it straight to Hatate, who finds Maida, dreadful touch, allows Fraser to win it back for Saints. The goal scorer rolls it out to McMenamin on this near side. And then plays it into Gogic. Big switch with the right foot from Gogic over the head of Tenecti, and Lundaloo's not going to get onto that though. And he goes out for a throw-in on the far side. I guess Dan and Lundaloo coming in for Mikael Mandron this afternoon. Was in Lundaloo won the corner, wasn't it, off Callum McGregor on this near side, already justifying his inclusion in doing that.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, he did a big performance in the semi-final against Motherwell. Obviously scored that spectacular goal, and he's been preferred this afternoon. We saw just a minute ago as he ran down that left-hand side. He has got pace, he's physical.
Celtic have it with Scales on this near side. Little ball forward across the halfway line for Engels. And now with Tierney. Tierney infield to Scales, goes back to Tierney on this left-hand side. Maida makes a run ahead of him, he's looking for him, just a bit too much on it though. He comes right through to Shamal George. And it stays Saints 1, Celtic 0 on 9 minutes. Packy, what have you made of the Celtic response?
Yeah, well, listen, it's so early in the game that they have to respond, and they've done it quite well at the moment. Tierney's looks like, James mentioned before the game, that he looks as if he's got a bit of something back into his game, and he's high up the pitch, and he's been involved in almost everything down this left-hand side so far. He put a really good cross in there a wee while ago, and it was a Tati coming into the back post, just missed it as it goes over Iheanacho's head.
Scales with the cross into the St Mirren box. Iheanacho with the header, an outstanding save by George. Iheanacho holds his head in his hands. He's frustrated, but it's a brilliant piece of goalkeeping by George, diving to his left to claw it away.
Yeah, you talked about the response from Celtic. That was a really good ball, good deep cross away to the back post from Scales, and Iheanacho using his power in the air, getting a header in. But what a fantastic save. I thought it was in the back of the net, but he was able to stretch that big left hand and get it almost away from goal also. Really good goalkeeping.
McGregor for Scales. Celtic trying to keep the pressure on here. Scales decides to turn back towards his own goal. He's still deep in enemy territory as he finds Engels up towards the edge of the box to the left-hand side of it now for Tierney's cross, blocked by McMenamin, and out for a Celtic throw-in. Level with the St Mirren 18-yard line on this near side, taken quickly by Tierney to Maida. Back to Tierney, back to Engels, who goes back to Scales. Scales then forward to Maida, the left angle of the box, been forced away from it just slightly as he uses Scales on the touchline, and then to McGregor, who squares it to Ralston. Side foot ball out wide right for Sebastian Tenecti. Up against Declan John at the right angle of the box, another really poor ball straight to Freckleton, who can clear with the left foot, and he goes over the halfway line up towards Ayunga. He gets a good touch onto it, but Trusty holds him off. Plays it short to Callum McGregor. 5 of the Celtic starting 11 started last season's final against Rangers. One of them here is Hatate as he rolls it right hand side of the box for Tenecti. It's his cross in, blocked there by Freckleton. It's going to break to Maida, tries to knock it back, or at least got a decent touch onto it. He hasn't been able to do either of them. Gogic gets it away, and Lundaloo's all over Liam Scales. He's out-muscled him, and now Lundaloo driving up towards the edge of the box. He's on the right foot, he shoots, and it's an important block by Trusty as it spins behind for the corner. Fabulous, strong striker play by Dan and Lundaloo, and he's won another corner for St Mirren. And remember, the only goal of the game so far came from their last effort on this near side. The man who took it to set up Marcus Fraser for the goal was Keanu Bacchus, and he's coming out to take this one. Saints 1, Celtic 0.
Liam Scales gets himself in an awful mess there, and it's just the physical strength and the willingness of Dana Lundaloo to put him under pressure, out-muscles him, and then he's driving in and goal. Manages to get the shot away, but again, deflected round for the corner.
Seen a replay of that Shamal George save. Outstanding it was to deny Iheanacho. Backus corner, right-footed, outswinger into the box, and he's off Fraser again. He's managed to work it back to Backus. Backus with a clipped, delicate ball towards the back post, headed away by Ralston. His chance is still alive. Freckleton on the turn and his efforts blocked, and the referee sounds his whistle. It's a flag up on this near side, but it is St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I don't know what Schmeichel is complaining to the assistant over in this left-hand side.
I think it's just the time it took him to put his flag up, because he saw it was obvious when the ball came back that the corner taker was offside, but he was wanting it earlier, I think.
Yeah, just St Mirren again, another big chance for them there. They're settled into this game really well now. They've handled what Celtic have thrown at them in the last couple of minutes, and then they are so dangerous on the counter-attack.
It doesn't matter the form of Celtic, you're going to need your goalkeeper to make some kind of save at some point. Shamal George came up with the goods.
Oh, he did, and it was wonderful. And you're right, Liam. Oh my God.
It's a terrible ball back there, and a chance for Lundaloo at the edge of the box, but it just got away from him. Trusty was the man who made the last-ditch block again. It was Ralston this time, but anyway, Celtic under pressure once more. Ralston sliding in on John, and out he goes for a St Mirren throw-in on the far side. These opening 14 minutes or so could not have gone much better for the Saints.
Celtic look so fragile defensively, making errors, and look, whenever they've not got very many numbers back there, but they're making mistakes, and whenever St Mirren's front two or wider players are on top of them, they look really nervous.
Long throw-in coming into that shaky Celtic box here. On that far side, Backus is over it. The Aussie bowls it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Engels with the head. Breaks to Freckleton, out to Fraser. Fraser's got McMenamin ahead of him and uses him. McMenamin faced by Tierney, a lovely spin by McMenamin, but he was just overcrowded, but it breaks to Gogic. Down the right for Phillips. Phillips gets the cross in, it's a decent one as well. It sails through eventually over to that left-hand side for Freckleton. Now John gets it back. Declan John across and Lundaloo just wide. Huge chance for a second for St Mirren. Celtic all over the shop, and St Mirren looking to make hay while the sun shines. Stephen Robinson thought that was in. It stays St Mirren 1, Celtic 0 on 15 minutes.
Brilliant football from St Mirren, it really was. The wee slide rule pass down the wing, when it's crossed in, you just wonder how important this miss is going to be. He's got to hit the target. Daniel Lundaloo, he gets across his marker at the front post, has to just get a slight bit more angle on it. Probably goes a foot past the post. Celtic are swimming in mud here.
He's got to score, Stephen. He's got to score now, and he's seeing it all the way. He's coming onto it also. Just get it on target, and it's in the back of the net. But the first cross from Killian Phillips down this right-hand side, I'm looking at Schmeichel and I'm saying, you've got to come and take that cross. It travels all the way to the back post, and then that's where they build up from.
And Lundaloo has it again down the left. He's a bundle of energy as he pulls it back there to Gogic. He leaves it for Phillips. He goes back to Freckleton. Been a real maturity about the St Mirren performance in the still relative infancy of this cup final. Well, they've lost it on the far side. Iheanacho finds Hatate down the right. Maida's the only one in the middle at the moment. Iheanacho trying to get there, but the cross is cut out by Phillips. And out for a Celtic throw level with the St Mirren 18-yard line, north stand side. Heading towards half-time at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1 remains the scoreline in the league. Hatate's cross. George gets something onto it. Iheanacho just too high for him. Any touch would have probably taken it behind George, given his positioning. St Mirren get it clear, and now Ayunga chases, gets there ahead of Trusty, but can only turn it behind for the goal kick. And it's St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
It was a really good cross, and again Iheanacho the target in the 6-yard box. I thought the goalkeeper was a yard too deep actually, and when he did come, he was flailing a little bit, but got a vital touch on it just to divert it away from Iheanacho, and that was again, that's a couple of crosses into the box that has been really dangerous from Celtic.
It's with Liam Scales, and then back to Trusty. He slips it to his right for Ralston. Trusty again out to Scales on this left-hand side. Scales on the ball, down the left touchline for Kieran Tierney. Level with the edge of the D of the St Mirren box as he uses Scales at close quarters and in field to McGregor. Now with Iheanacho, a little turn on the edge of the box. Uses Tierney. Tierney's level with the penalty spot. Back to Engels. Celtic deeply ensconced in the St Mirren half as the cross comes in and it's headed wide. This guy's in Maida, flung himself at it, didn't get enough meat in the header. And it was across the face of goal and behind for a goal kick, and stays St Mirren 1, Celtic 0. And it is half-time now in the Premiership match, the only league game being played today. And a John Jewell's goal has Kilmarnock in front for their first win after 10 without. 1-0 Killie lead at Pittodrie at the break.
What a ball that is from Scales into a really dangerous area. I think Maeda's got to score. I know he's thrown himself at it a wee bit, but he gets there, he gets enough of it on his forehead. Should be hitting the target.
Hoping to get James McFadden's thoughts shortly. There's not been too many stoppages in play. There's one now. James, what are you making of this?
Oh, what a game it's been. Such a frantic pace and tempo to this game. St Mirren, dream start. Packie mentioned it before the game about, possibly exploiting Celtic at set pieces. Well, first one and they get a goal, and Celtic's response has been pretty good. I think the crosses coming into the box, the quality's been good. Jamal George's save was absolutely tremendous. Outstanding save. And you talk about players playing at their absolute maximum and coming up with big moments, and more often than not we talk about strikers and chances to score, but Jamal George just comes up with an absolute moment for St Mirren to keep them in the lead. It's been some pace to the game. I hope it continues, because there's going to be chances, and St Mirren, we knew they would line up the way they have. We knew they'd leave their two strikers up. They're causing problems, and we knew that was going to be the case as well. But what a game it's been.
St Mirren have it wide on the left, midway inside the Celtic half. And Declan John wins a throw over on the far side. He's going to leave this one presumably to Bacchus. And Freckleton perhaps. He'll take this one. No, Bacchus is there drawing the ball down on the far side. It is a slick surface down there. It's going to be another long throw into the Celtic box coming up from the Australia international on the far side in his second spell at the club. Here comes the long throw into the Celtic box. It's half away by Ralston. Breaks to Marcus Fraser. It's not a great touch. I think he got caught in two minds there. He was thinking about a shot. It's going to be Richard King lofting it into the box, but it comes all the way through to Kasper Schmeichel. And it stays Saints 1, Celtic 0. We're almost on the 20-minute mark at Hampden. Scales at walking pace down below us. And then Trusty. Over it goes to Ralston.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Liam, from the way the Celtic set up. We talked about three at the back. In fact, it's almost ended up two at the back, with Scales pushed himself way up here on this left-hand side at times when Celtic have the ball, and he's been effective.
Here's Tierney wide on the left of the St Mirren box, level with the penalty spot. Back to Scales on this near side. McGregor pushes it forward to Engels, racing back towards the halfway line though, under pressure from Gogic, who then trips Engels. And it's going to be a free kick. It's what Gogic is all about. He'll be all over you like a rash in that midfield role. Celtic take the quick free kicks to Scales, looking for Maida, in behind Maida. Is it behind? Across the face of goal! And it bobbles off a couple of players and back into the grateful gloves of Jamal George, and stays St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
Oh wow, it's incredible actually that didn't go in the back of the net. Again, a brilliant ball from Liam Scales on this left hand side, in behind the defender, and the run from Maeda, which he's got that pace and cuts it back, evades the goalkeeper initially. He goes to the ground, and then I'm not sure which defender got a touch on it and goes straight back in to Samuel George's hands.
I think Hatate's just got to take the ball and the three players into the net with him there. I mean, it's brilliant movement from Maeda to get in behind Marcus Fraser. He cuts it back. You've got to just throw yourself and everything else. Oh, that's a bad
Maeda's chopped to the ground by Fraser. He'll go into the boot for that. Yellow cards out for the Saints skipper and goal scorer. Maeda was heading through after a good strong play initially by Iheanacho.
Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing there, because it was a really good play. A ball into Iheanacho's feet again, holding the ball up really well, using his strength, and then seeing the run from Maeda, and of course, but he had a little bit of cover there. Yeah. Probably, did he have to do it? Not sure. Maybe.
Iheanacho's link-up play, as you rightly point out, Pat, has been 10 out of 10 so far. Every time he's had the ball into his feet, he's linked it intelligently.
Well, he did pretty well, albeit from 3-0 down when he came on for the second half of the Roma game on Thursday. Celtic have a free kick opportunity to flood the box here. Kieran Tierney standing hands on hips, waiting to take. 10 yards from the near side touchline near the box, clipped in with the left foot to the right hand side. Trusty wins the header. Scales couldn't get onto it, breaks to McGregor. Now with Tierney left foot cross ball comes in, goal! 1-1. One apiece. Rio Hatate threw himself at it, caught it with the right foot and puts it across George into the far left corner of the net, and the holders are level. St Mirren 1, Celtic 1.
Well, listen, we talked about the importance of crosses, getting them into the box. One touch finish from Hatate coming in on that back post. He was in there a couple of times. This time, nobody picking him up, but it was a really good ball bent in from that man, Kieran Tierney, and he anticipated it really, really well. Got in there, and he's not offside. He comes in on the blind side and he puts it back across the goalkeeper, Samuel George. A really good finish.
His run is absolutely brilliant, and it's Dana Lundalo who's marking him as he sets off. Put the ball in the back of the net. Probably not who you're looking to as one of your strikers to be picking up a run into the box. It's a superb run and finish from Hatate. Top class, but Lundalo drops him.
Yeah, I think that's about 4 unbelievable crosses that Celtic have put in there. They probably should have scored before that, and that one then was away to the back post again. But getting bodies into the box, getting it into the danger area, that's the key, and that's been a big difference, I think, from Celtic from an attacking point of view today that I've seen in the last 2 games.
It's a good finish by Hatate for his 4th goal of the season, and an important one it is for Celtic, who trailed in the opening 90 seconds. Long ball for St Mirren up to the edge of the Celtic box. It's cleared. Phillips slides in when Celtic got it away to win it back, and it's with Gogic. He's had it pinched off by McGregor. Wanted too long. McGregor slips it infield to Iheanacho. Iheanacho's got options right and left. Turns it back to McGregor in the box, left-footed. Tries to drive it across. It's blocked. Second chance saved by George and flicked away by Gogic. Important period now for St Mirren all of a sudden, who have a man down inside the Celtic half. It's Killian Phillips. Celtic play on. Down the right goes Tinekti. He's in a bit of space. He's at the byline. Across it comes off the defender behind for the corner. And suddenly it's St Mirren who are wobbling here under intense pressure. St Mirren 1, Celtic 1. Celtic corner.
Yeah, you talked about the response from Celtic, and it took them a couple of minutes to get back into the game, but they've certainly responded really, really well in this game. And Tinekti getting to the byline with his right foot. Why does he want to play over on the left-hand side since he's come to Celtic? That's natural for him. Just cut it back and anything can happen.
Suddenly St Mirren, Stephen, a little bit dazed and confused against the ropes here.
Yeah, there was a spell 10 minutes ago when Celtic were on the ropes a wee bit and St Mirren were getting those chances. The one just past the post. But St Mirren just need to be careful here, because Celtic have really upped things and they're looking a wee bit rocked to St Mirren. It's going to be a big one though for St Mirren. Killian Phillips, he took a knock and a tackle with Maeda. It wasn't a foul, but he just kind of had an awkward spin, and he was down ever since.
Stuck in the turf as well.
Yeah, it looked like it. So, they'll be hoping that he can continue. But Celtic right on top these last 10 minutes. They've been absolutely brilliant.
Wilfred Nancy down there talking to his captain, Callum McGregor, as we wait for the prognosis for Killian Phillips, who's being attended to just outside the centre circle. So there'll be a stoppage in play here, which maybe will give us a chance to speak to James again, who's watching this one alongside us. James, Celtic level in the game. Great finish by Hatate.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Celtic's response has been excellent. I agree with Tomo. It looked like they were on the ropes a little bit, certainly defensively, but they've taken control of the game. The crosses that they've put in from the left-hand side, the goal, the cross from Tierney is outstanding. The finish from Hatate is magnificent. Liam Scales has put a couple of brilliant crosses in as well, and they've really, grown into the game and got control of it now. You can see, the energy, and I think that a lot of it stems from the fact that Iheanacho's playing through the middle. He's playing as a striker. He's aware of where to be, where to, his position. His hold-up play has been excellent. It's allowing the players to go and make runs off him. It's been a great response from Celtic.
Phillips is going to be okay to come back on, but change down to tennis. Celtic take the short corner. It's played to McGregor, back out wide right to Tinekti. Looks up to the right foot, cross in. Headed away by Gogic. Breaks a Hatate on the volley, and then blocked by King on the 6-yard line. That was heading on target as Trusty slides in to win it back, and Hatate on the left-hand side finds Tierney, pulls it back, and Gogic clears. Trusty picks up the scraps. And rolls it back to Ralston. Listen to the Celtic fans now all of a sudden. They smell blood. As McGregor rolls it along the grass, wide right onto the touchline for Tenecti. Back infield for McGregor and forward to Engels. To McGregor, to Tenecti on the far side. And then Callum McGregor clips the ball forward. Maida's just too high for him. I'm not sure if he was on or off, but it's come through to George anyway. And it stays one apiece at Hampden after 27.5 minutes.
Yeah, what Celtic are doing when they have the ball, they're pushing their left centre back, Scales, most of the time forward, and it's given them an extra almost players in the wide area, and they're exploiting it with Tierney and Scales, and they're getting lots of opportunity, put good crosses into the box. Obviously they fall into a back three when they have to defend, which is not brilliantly, I've got to say it.
Celtic, yeah, and Anthony Ralston's at the head, a long ball down the left behind for a St Mirren corner as the match swings off to our right all of a sudden.
It's been frenetic, isn't it? I mean, it's been absolutely brilliant viewing so far. 28 minutes into the game, both sides with multiple chances. Celtic putting really good crosses into the box, St Mirren fighting for their lives. It's just been a brilliant spectacle so far.
Out-swinging corner coming up here from that far side. McMenamin over it with the left foot in front of the Celtic fans in that northeast corner. In it comes, headed away, and it's going to break to Tenecti as well. Celtic looking to hit with a quick fire counter here. The Callum McGregor runs into a ruck of black and white shirts, breaks back to Hatate, smashes it in the middle of the pitch, up into the air. It Scales with a header, it's poor. So Mirren have it here. King pushing it into the box, looking for Ayunga. He's not giving up the ghost, but it's just a bit too much on it. Goes behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Ayunga had made the run in behind the Celtic defenders. He just needed the weight of the pass to be right. Unfortunately, King put way too much on it.
Marcus Fraser at St Mirren in front after 90 seconds, cancelled out by Rio Hatate on 23. Marcus Fraser, incidentally, part of the last team to beat Celtic at Hampden in the League Cup in that semi-final in 15-16. As Tierney picks up on the left, they've had an outstanding record in this tournament. Tierney's cross comes in, it's battered away by Gogic. It's off Scales' left knee and out for a throw into Saints on this near side.
Tierney's been excellent so far, Packy, for me on the left-hand side. I know he's getting a lot of the ball because of the overload that you were talking about with Scales pushing on. St Mirren don't know really how to deal with that, but his deliveries into the box and his willingness to get forward have been outstanding.
Yeah, it's forcing one of St Mirren's strikers to come back also to try to match up with Scales. And that allows Tierney also to go really high as a wing back, and when he picks her up, he's got that delivery, and it's a position that suits him probably far better than what they've been trying before.
Here comes St Mirren down the left. There, Gogic well forward, but McGregor's there, and he gets it back to Schmeichel, who clears with the right foot out to that right hand side. Looks into the middle of the pitch here with St Mirren in possession with Bacchus, back to Phillips, and then out to this right side of the centre circle for Fraser. Reminder at half-time at Pittodrie in the Premiership, Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1. John Jules with the only goal in that game. The second half will be underway in the next minute or so at Pittodrie, as Aberdeen look to hit back. Kilmarnock looking to hold on and pick up a first victory for such a long time. Sitting currently in 11th spot in the league. Stephen Robinson down there taking some notes, and there's been plenty to note down in this first half of the 80th League Cup final. It's a Celtic throw-in over on the far side, which Ralston takes and bowls it forward, but goes out for a throw on the far side. Opposite Mirren player last, and out for a Celtic ball. Ralston will eventually take. There's been a real period of calm in the game for Celtic after a difficult start. It was important for them. They got that equaliser before too long because they can fester on the performance, as well as the fact they were behind. Schmeichel's ball eventually reaches Scales, but he's had it nicked off from a combination of Phillips and McMenamin on the near side. Maida's all over and puts it out for a Saints throw-in, level with the edge of the D at the edge of the Celtic box on this near side.
Yeah, listen, it's a long pass, isn't it, from Schmeichel? It's almost a 40-yard pass, and by the time it reaches Scales, he's under severe pressure to try to deal with it, and just gives the ball away. Here's a chance for St Mirren.
McMenamin infield to Bacchus. He's at the edge of the Celtic box, but he's lost out there to Ralston. Now Tenecti's away, driving forward as the Tunisian. up towards the halfway line. He gets away from one. Shifts it infield to Iheanacho. He's looking for Maida. Too much on it though. He's right through to George. The St Mirren 1, Celtic 1. We played 32.
Brilliant from Tenecte out on that right-hand side. Didn't start the game well, but he's really grown into the match as it's gone off. Driving with the ball a good 40 yards, skipping past two players, plays it inside to Iheanacho, and his pass through just had a wee bit too much on it. Oops.
Trusty's lost it to Ayunga on this near side, right-hand side of the Celtic box. Pulls it back to Phillips. Little dink ball into the area. Tierney. Brilliant from him again as he holds off McMenamin. Comes out to this near side. It's clipped ball forwards. Comes off Phillips' boot, but it's broken kindly for Kelechi Iheanacho on this left-hand side. King trying to stay with him.
Oh, his hammy's gone.
Oh dear. Iheanacho clutching the back, the top back of his right leg there.
Oh, his hamstring's gone again. And he's done so well in this game.
Really, it's been brilliant so far.
That should be a massive blow for Celtic. And it looks like Iheanacho's going to have to come off here, just as he was being put under pressure by King.
Yeah, he knew right away. As soon as he went to check, he knew his hamstring was gone there. He just knocked it out of play.
St Mirren won't be disappointed at this if Iheanacho, as you would imagine, will have to come off here.
He's been a big feature of their play.
And Johnny Kenny's going to come on, of course, played well in that semi-final against Rangers.
No, I'm not sure he's got the same link-up capabilities that Iheanacho's shown in the opening 30 minutes of this game. That's a big blow for Celtic.
And he's just back, Packy, as well, after almost 2 months out.
Yeah, I always worried about him coming back, and just, he came on, didn't he, in one of the games, and he started the other night, and then he started again. Maybe it's a little bit of a cramp. Maybe
he came off the bench on Thursday, didn't he? He's wanting to come back on, but I don't think with that injury, Stephen, you can take any kind of risk with him, can you?
Surely not. I mean, what? Nah, he's off.
No.
Yeah, he was wanting to give it a go, but I think that's adrenaline more than anything, and he's replaced by Johnny Kenny. Iheanacho off, having played very well in the opening 34 minutes, but it's up to Kenny now to lead the line for Celtic. One apiece here at the National Stadium. There will be a Celtic ball on this left-hand side, free kick, and Kieran Tierney's over it, midway inside St Mirren territory. Chance to get this in on top of the St Mirren defence. Really high line. Players move back into the box now as Tierney flights it high in towards the back end of the penalty area, where it beats everyone and then breaks down Lundaloo on the far side. He wins St Mirren a throw-in on their left flank. It is St Mirren 1, Celtic 1. A really entertaining League Cup final up to press.
It's been incredible, hasn't it? And we're only 35 minutes gone, and there's been so many chances again. 2 goals, lots of good play out there from both teams. You've got to say, 2 very different types of teams in the way that they approach. But again, it's very entertaining.
Ball is high in the midfield, and a little push there by Phillips. I think that'll be a free kick to Celtic right of the centre circle. Engels was shoved to the deck. There will be a Celtic ball. And Callum McGregor over the free kick, takes it quickly and just moves it to his right for Ralston onto the touchline for Tenecte, who's going to go back to his goalkeeper.
No surprise there.
Schmeichel short to Trusty to his left. Trusty then moves it to Engels, who's popped up on the left, and he picks up the pace and rolls it out wide left onto the touchline for Scales, level with the edge of the D. The St Mirren box forced back the way by McMenamin. Now it's McGregor, and out to Tierney on this left hand side. Tierney with a little ball infield to Scales. He too looking for Engels, but it's booted away by King, and out for a Celtic throw-in about level with the St Mirren 18-yard line on this near side. The final evenly poised at 1-1, but there's no doubt that since the equaliser, it's not quite been one-way traffic, but it's not been far off it.
Yeah, Celtic, I mean, they got off to the worst possible start in this game, but they really have grown into and look by far the more dangerous team at this point. But St Mirren always carry that threat on the counter-attack.
Celtic throw-in into the box, breaks for Kenny, just kind of bounced off him, and Fraser bundles it away out to this near side. McMenamin prevents it, out for the throw-in, booting it up towards the halfway line where Trusty meets it and passes it back to his keeper. inside his box.
First little test there for Johnny Kenny when that ball's played into him inside the box, and he failed to do what Iheanacho was doing. And this is probably down to strength more than anything else, but he was hustled off the ball and he miscontrolled it.
Second half is underway at Pittodrie. Kilmarnock enjoying a 1-0 lead. We keep you up to date with that one in the Premiership. Even in the League Cup final, it is Austin Trusty playing it short to Ralston, and out to Tenecti over on that far side. And Ralston rolls it back to Schmeichel. He'll then hit it first time with the right foot out to this left-hand side for Scales, who plays it off McMenamin, and out for a Celtic throw-in on the near side. Scales midway inside his own half with his throw-in. His manager is quite animated down there, Wilfred Nancy. There is so much pressure on his shoulders. Just, what, 9 days into the job, really? 9 or 10 days into it.
Well, he's got a reaction from them, I think, in this game, and I think the players that he's picked in the positions that he wants them to play is obviously not a back three as such. When they have the ball, it's almost reverting into a fullback with Scales pushed forward and given linking up with Tierney and giving a 2v1 in the wide areas, and it's worked very, very well in this first half because they've got so many good balls into the box from both those players.
1-1 with 6.5 minutes of the opening 45 to play. Celtic have it with McGregor. Out to Scales. Scales wide in the left, level with the edge of the centre circle in the St Mirren half. Side foot ball back into Trusty. Trusty plays it to Ralston. And forward there to Engels, and then out to Hatate on the far side. Hatate under severe duress, and it's Miguel Freckleton with the challenge. It comes off Hatate last and out for a throw-in over on the far side to Saints. The throw rewards Ayungai couldn't control, breaks kindly for Gogic, who launches it up the park, but it's cleared by Ralston. King has to deal with it, plays it off Kenny's head. Kenny didn't know what it was. It's actually ended up bouncing out to this left-hand side, out for a St Mirren throw-in. Could so easily have ended up in front of him. And behind the Jamaica international.
Yeah, just looking at Freckleton going straight in on top of Hatate there in midfield, and Gogic would be the one then who would just step back in to his position as a back three player to give him a little bit of cover, and not going really tight on Hatate and not allowing him to get control of the ball and pick a pass.
Little flick by Nlundulu. Ayunga momentarily got behind Trusty, biting back at him. It's over on this near side touchline though. Celtic flooding back in numbers. Maida winning it back down this near side. And it's gone out for a Celtic throw-in despite McMenamin thinking he should have had a free kick there. There's a Celtic throw-in on this near side. This League Cup final is finely poised. As we tick on to the 40-minute mark here. Darkness has fallen on Glasgow's south side. As Ralston launches it forward with the right foot, he slipped as he did so. Headed away by Fraser, knew Maida was in behind him. Tierney's going to let it go out for a throw-in to the holders on this near side. Tierney looking for an option in green and white here. Taking his time over it. Engels has made his way towards him, but Tierney bowls it forward down this near side, too high for Kenny. Breaks to Killian Phillips in the midfield. It's a dangerous ball by Phillips though. The square pass has gone to Tenecti, finds McGregor. Tenecti sweeps it back into his own half in the centre circle for Trusty, who finds Engels, and now Scales. Scales then to Trusty. Left foot low ball to the right there for Ralston. Ralston finds Tenecti on the touchline. Over on the far side, infield to Engels, who goes back to Ralston. The pace of the game has slowed slightly after that hectic start to proceedings.
I can understand that. I mean, it really was incredible, the opening 25 minutes.
It's Austin Trusty for Celtic. He rolls it to his left for Scales. Now with Engels in his own half here though. An opportunity perhaps for Hatate to get onto the ball on the far side, which he does, and now it's with Ralston. He goes all the way back to his goalkeeper.
Sort of just need to open up a little bit in midfield. They're passing the ball, but they're not going anywhere with it. They're keeping control of it, but they just had opportunities there to open up in the first touch and play forward. Well, and they've taken that just intensity out of the game, and that suits St Mirren.
The manager was furious as Schmeichel launched it long there. Nancy down below us, he's trying to get his keeper's attention. Schmeichel's not noticing. Celtic coming anyway with Tierney on this near side. Back to Engels. Engels then finds Trusty. He finds McGregor. McGregor midway inside St Mirren territory. Square ball infield to Arne Engels, and now it's with Trusty who finds Scales. And Celtic find the lead before the break, having been behind. 3 minutes of the first half of regulation time to play. Tierney on the near side. Left foot, side foot ball along the deck, back to Trusty. Now to McGregor, he wanted too long, and he gets away with it. Bacchus was all over him. They've managed to scramble it back to Kasper Schmeichel. Now it's Ralston. It's ball forward to Hatate. Hatate, good take by him, and he's looking for Tierney in behind. Tierney will chase down the left-hand side. He's on his own at the moment down by the corner flag. He's kept it in play. Rolls it back to Scales. Scales then infield for Engels. Looks to reverse it for Maida. Fraser encouraged George to come and get there, and then saw the ball sticking in the turf a little bit and decides to just deal with it. He did the right thing there if he wasn't sure. Celtic throw in, level with the St Mirren penalty spot, taken by Tierney for Engels. Engels manages to whip the ball across, no takers. Kenny was there. It's broken out to Tenecti wide on the right. Tenecti level with the 6-yard line, making for the byline. Turns back the way, finds Ralston. His cross is cut out, but at the expense of a Celtic corner. With the scores at 1-1, 43 and a half on the clock.
Yeah, Tony Ralston doesn't need to go overlap him there. He just leave it 1v1, just block the space, but eventually they get the corner and keeps a little bit of pressure on. Vital time right before half time, 2 or 3 minutes. There will be a little bit of extra time to come, I would assume, but vital time to get in at half time for both teams.
And how often have you seen Celtic score at this exact sort of time in a football match? To break your hearts, and it comes from Engels. It's headed away at the angle of the 6-yard box. Breaks to Tenecti, back out to Engels on the far side, and then Callum McGregor picks up. Rolls it back the way to Ralston, who feeds it out to Tenecti on that right-hand side. Final minute of the opening 45. Tenecti driving towards the byline, wins another corner. Oh no, goal kick. It's come off Tenecti last. He's gone racing to Kevin Clancy, the referee, to protest that decision. But it is a goal kick to St Mirren, and they will be mightily relieved about that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they got this one correct. No, they didn't. It's a corner.
It's come off McMenamin,
yeah. So St Mirren getting away with him there. If they can get in at half time, which they'll be looking to do at 1-1, and then they can be pleased with their half's work.
What's Wilfred Nancy making of Celtic's first half work, Packy?
No, I think he'll be happy. Obviously, he's not happy with losing a goal from a set piece so early, but it was so early in the game that they had a chance to get back into it. But I think he'd be happy with the way that they've... Here's
Bacchus. He gets the break of the ball, shoots from the edge of the box and over the bar. And it stays 1-1.
It's a decent chance,
3 minutes added on at the end.
Yeah, it's a Younger does well initially with a flick on, a break of the ball to Bacchus. He's about 20 yards out. It opens up for him to get a shot. He really should be hitting the target. Leans back and goes high over Schmeichel's bar.
He's not a renowned goal scorer, Keanu Bacchus, as Ralston launches a really good ball out to Scotland teammate Tierney on this near side. Brilliant switch. Tierney up towards the edge of the box. Hatate inside the box, flips it back the way. Gogic gets there ahead of Engels and boots it out for a throw-in on the far side. And whilst they'd love to reclaim the lead, Stephen Robinson will be desperate to get in at 1-1 at worst. Celtic throw-in over on the north stand side. Ralston with it, midway inside the St Mirren half. Ralston waits. An option to make himself available. Eventually he bowls it back to Trusty on the halfway line. The left foot ball to Ralston over on the right, and he clips it forward, looking to try and get Kenny in behind. It's well read by Richard King. He gets it away, and it's now broken to Gogic in the midfield. Gogic looking to ping it for Nlumbalu, but he's given it straight to Scales. Scales forward to Maida. He played a minute and a half of the 3 they were added. It's out to Tierney on the left, gets the cross ball in. It's missed there by Freckleton. As he tried to head, I think he was wanting to head it behind for the corner. Celtic pick up wide on the right with Tenecti. Tenecti drops the shoulder, gets to the byline, wins the corner. This one is a corner. Yeah. This might be the last chance of the first half, we shall see.
Yeah, again, a cross coming in from Tierney on this left-hand side. It was a speculative cross, you've got to say, and there was there was nobody really coming in on the end of it, but Frecklin got himself all in a tizzy at the back post and didn't make contact, and eventually Celtic get a corner from it.
To be taken by Arne Engels over on the right. Celtic right as they attack the goal at the left. Right-footed outswinger into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed well over by Kenny, and it stays in Mirren 1. Celtic 1, knocking on half-time.
Really difficult header there for Kenny. I mean, the ball's out swinging, he's moving out the way as well. To try and get any purchase or direction on the header's virtually impossible. It goes high over Shamal George's barn. Probably looking at the half-time whistle any second now.
Yeah, well, there's 30 seconds left on the clock, but it's looking like it's going to be all square at the interval. There'll be a goal kick here for Shamal George to take. He's in no hurry right now, because I have to say probably 25-30 minutes of this first half, certainly the last 20-25 minutes, Celtic have dominated proceedings. St Mirren always a threat when you're looking at the running of Mundaloo and Ayunga. They pull defenders all over the place. Tierney manages to win it ahead of Fraser. Might be one last chance for Celtic. Maida's gone down off the ball. Celtic play on. Tenekti wide on the right. Tenekti enters the box using Ralston. Gogic tries to get there. Ralston slides in, and Gogic emerges with the ball and clears down that left-hand side. We've played the 3 minutes. We're over it now. And Mundaloo picks up, but there is the half-time whistle from Kevin Clancy. And an electric first half comes to a close here at Hampden. There's something spilled over in the middle of the pitch there. Trustine and Mundaloo involved. Others getting involved as well and becoming embroiled in it in the centre circle. So the officials are keeping their eyes on that. There might be some cards to come out here after the half-time whistle had blown. Marcus Fraser heading St Mirren into a sensational early lead inside 90 seconds from the Bacchus corner. And they were threatening to score again, and Lundaloo went closest. There's a yellow for Trusty, a yellow for Lundaloo after the half-time whistle. This is a footnote to that entertaining opening, 48 minutes as it was. And Lundaloo might be wondering what might have been had he found the net with that one, because Celtic were looking dazed and confused at that point, as Lundaloo put it wide. And they were made to pay the price, because Rio Hatate from Tierney's wonderful cross finished superbly well for the fourth of the season to get the holders back on level terms, and they dominated for most of the rest of that opening half of the 80th League Cup final, which at the midway point is all square. St Mirren 1, the holders Celtic 1.
Join me, Laura McKeever.
And me, Martin Geisler, for our brand new breakfast news show.
Radio Scotland Breakfast.
We'll bring you the stories that matter from across Scotland, the UK and around the world.
We'll ask the tough questions and get answers from the people in power.
Plus sport, entertainment, weather and great conversation to start your day.
Join Martin Geisler and Laura McKeever for Radio Scotland Breakfast.
Listen tomorrow morning from 6 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
The Scottish League Cup.
Live on Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
This is Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. It has been a high-tempo first 45 minutes of the Premier Sports Cup final. One apiece. It is plenty of talking points, and of course, full live second half commentary to come. Should it be sorted out in the 90 minutes, that will be one thing, but if there is extra time, if there is the drama of the penalty shootout, we'll have that live for you right here on Sports. And we'll get further thoughts from James McFadden and Tom English as we give the commentary team just a few moments rest. But let's quickly head up to Pittodrie though, because there is Premiership action there this afternoon. Willie Miller watching on. Aberdeen against Kilmarnock.
Yeah, Richard, and the scoreline is still Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1, but the game has turned round dramatically in the second half. The first half belonged to Kilmarnock. They dominated the ball, they dominated the opportunities, and they got the opening goal in 17 minutes. John Jules it was that showed all the calmness that was required as he ran through on Mitov. It was Keskinen that gave the ball away, dwelt on it, then a lovely pass from James Brown into the path of John Jules. He took the little touch and then he just got his foot and just dinked it under the ball and clipped it over Mitov into the back of the net for the goal. Aberdeen's only chance in the first half was a header from Canister that was headed off the line. I think it was Dom Thompson that headed it off the line. Kilmarnock, on the other hand, Liam Polworth had a shot just past Mitov Beaton. It just grazed the post. There was then a penalty awarded against Aberdeen, allegedly off Jack Milne's hand, but even in real time I didn't think it was a penalty. When I watched it again, I didn't think it was a penalty. When the referee asked the VAR to go and have another look, he didn't think it was a penalty either, so it wasn't given. Bruce Anderson then had two opportunities before half time. One a volley straight at Mitov, the other one is right through 1v1. Mitov does well to spread himself, but he really should have scored. Into the second half, and then it's been all Aberdeen. Aberdeen have turned the game around. Cross from Armstrong, Ouch's shot was blocked, Shinney's shot was blocked. It was a double scrappy effort just in the 6-yard box, but both had chances to put it into the back of the net and both failed. Ouchich then had a volley, a magnificent volley on the turn, falling down. It struck the underside of the bar and went out to safety. And then Carlson had a magnificent 25-yard free kick, and Oluwumi just didn't deal with it. Comes off his chest into the path of Polvara, but then the goalkeeper made up with quite a magnificent save. Perhaps if Polvara had showed a little bit more composure, he could have lifted it over the goalkeeper, but he went for power, and the goalkeeper was up to the shot. So it's still in the balance. Aberdeen have certainly turned it round. I think it's Lazatic that has just come onto the field of play, so Aberdeen now playing with two strikers up top, keeping Nisbet and Lazatic there. So it's Kilmarnock still in the lead, but Aberdeen pressing for the equaliser.
Heading into the final quarter of that one, still Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1 here at Hampden. It is one apiece. James McFadden, it's been a wonderful watch, hasn't it, for the first 45 minutes?
It's been excellent, everything we hoped for, and a bit more. St Mirren going in front, Celtic having to rally and then taking control of the game. Two really good goals, you have to say, as well, and plenty of action in the game. So no, I've really enjoyed watching it. Interesting, Iheanacho going off, Johnny Kenny coming on, and it's a different proposition now for Celtic. He's more willing to run in behind. He has that speed to stretch the game, but it's been a fantastic spectacle, and hopefully we get a lot more of that in the second half, because as much as Celtic have had control, St Mirren, because of what we spoke about before the game with their two strikers, are always in it. They've always got a chance to cause problems, create a bit of panic and nervousness in that back line, and on a few occasions they have done that and just failed to capitalise on it. But what a game of football it's been. I've really enjoyed it.
I guess the big one was Lindelöf, wasn't it? Just in fact not that long before Celtic started to really take a hold, take a grip on the match. But it's a magnificent move by St Mirren. The low ball from John, and he slides it just wide of the near post.
Yeah, it is. It's great play. The 1-2, don't see too much of it now, but it's always been effective, and it always will be effective, especially, you just need that defender to switch off. I think that Lindelöf does really well to get across the front, but by the time it comes in, it's slightly behind him to get the angle that he needs to get on it. And look, it's easy sitting up here and saying, can you hold your run a little bit and then go and meet the ball as it's coming into your area, and by the time his final position is beyond the front post, so it's a very difficult finish for him. But nonetheless, it was great play from St Mirren to create the opening, and that is a massive moment in the game, you have to say. If that goes into the back of the net, then we're talking about a different game at half time.
But Celtic were rocking, and they were absolutely rocking at that point, so they deserve a fair bit of credit, those players, don't they, for when you think what has happened in the last couple of matches under the new manager and how they started this one.
Oh, absolutely. I think that you can see how the manager wants to play this 3-4-3 system. I think particularly down the left-hand side with Tierney playing high and wide, Scales going and joining in. Scales has put in some unbelievable crosses, not so much towards the end of the half, but certainly the first 15-20 minutes, the crossing from the left-hand side has been outstanding. I think you can see exactly what the manager wants to do, and it was always going to take time. I think that having the right players, the right profile players in the right positions has certainly helped. Tenetke's done fine out on the right-hand side as well. I think that maybe a frustration for his teammates is that he's always looking to take the player on. There's sometimes he can maybe slip them in. Hatate makes a run inside him. And then from Tenetke's point of view, why are you making those runs if you know, get him 1v1, he's got the speed, he's shown that he can get to the byline. Just at the end of the half, Ralston makes an incredible lung-busting run to get round him. I don't think he needs to make it. I think he can just leave him there and then let him put the cross in. But certainly, this has looked like a much better Celtic side when they're on the ball and the attacking threat. Still have that fragility at the back, but I think you have to credit St Mirren for the way they've gone about it.
Tom English, they have, St Mirren have they've been doughty, I suppose. They've certainly had to defend in numbers, and they've done that. They've had to thank the keeper on a couple of occasions. It's a big ask, though, isn't it, to try to do the next 45 minutes if the game's going to continue in this kind of vein.
Yeah, huge ask. I mean, 15 very, very good minutes from St Mirren. 1-0 up, could have made it 2, but since then it's been pretty much Celtic all the way. Celtic's confidence growing. Liam Scales, as Paddy says, he's had 3 amazing moments in terms of providing. The cross for Iheanacho, the cross for Maeda, another ball in behind to Maeda caused chaos in the St Mirren penalty box. Their best providers have been their defenders. Kieran Tierney, obviously brilliant delivery for the goal, brilliant finish. So St Mirren, I think they are really under the cosh now, having made that explosive start. Celtic's confidence levels are rising all the time. You can see that their good players are really delivering today. So, but it's an absolutely brilliant game of football, isn't it? I mean, I think the goal after a minute and a half kind of was unlocked the game fantastically, because then Celtic are shaken and they have to come on. They have to go on the attack. There's no settling in period in this final. There's no caution. It's been toe to toe the whole way. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, it absolutely has. You'd imagine that there are going to be clearly further substitutions. The joy of any cup final is you never know who quite is going to become the hero. And of course, St Mirren, I guess, James, it will be trying to continue to keep Celtic out in the hope that they start to become frustrated and that openings might fall for Saints.
Yeah, I think that they're aware that at times they're going to be under the cosh. They're going to have to defend. They don't mind doing it, but you can see that even at times when Celtic are maybe trying to probe and look for that opening, when the ball goes from one side to the next, that's a trigger for St Mirren to go and press them and put them under pressure. And as I said, with the 2 up front, they're always going to cause problems, because it doesn't have to be a great ball, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the strikers know what areas they need to be in when they don't have the ball, so that they can affect the game if it goes forward. We've seen it a couple of times, Trusty and Scales misjudging the flight of the ball, and that's just because of the pressure they know they're going to be under, and then they try and make a rash decision of, do I go and stop it before it bounces? But I'm also need to worry about the physicality and the work rate of the strikers. And whilst St Mirren have that, they'll always be in the game. If they can defend this second half as well as they have done at times in the first half, then they'll fancy they can get another goal and go and win the game. Worst case scenario for them is they keep it as is. They try and keep it as is, take it an extra time. I mean, you come into a final, and if you need to win it on penalties, then you need to win it on penalties. But I think it's more keep it tight, knowing fine well that you've got 2 workhorses up front that are good players as well. They don't just work hard, they hold the ball in well, they can travel with the ball and get their team up the pitch. And they've also got reinforcements on the bench. We spoke about Mandron before, that can come on and complement that. So I think for St Mirren, you've got a great start, you go in front, you're going to take pressure, you're going to have to defend. They've defended, OK, Celtic have equalised, but 1-1 at half-time in a cup final, they're taking that all day long getting into the game.
It has been absolutely engrossing, you've got to say, the first 45 minutes, that magnificent start from the Paisley side. Celtic hitting back, dominating for a chunk. Still, as James said, just that little warning every now and again that St Mirren do have the men, the firepower to potentially cause further problems. 1-1 it is here. They're into the final 15 minutes of regulation time at Pittodrie. It's still Aberdeen 0. Kilmarnock 1. Willie, Aberdeen still knocking on the door.
They still are. A lot of the energies went out, though. You know, the early impetus in the second half has kind of drifted a little bit, and Kilmarnock are coming back into it. But it looked as though, you know, at the start of the second half, that Kilmarnock were quite happy just to fold back and make it really difficult for Aberdeen to find any kind of a space, any kind of a way through. But you know, they've had the chances that I mentioned a little bit earlier. They've been a little bit unlucky with a double effort that was blocked from Auschwitz and Shinnie. Armstrong again has been outstanding. Now Sheesh has hit the crossbar too, and the Carlson shot was a really wicked one that fell for Polvara, but he couldn't convert. But Kilmarnock are slowly getting themselves back into the game, and Aberdeen have fallen out of it a little bit. It's a big ask now for Aberdeen to turn this one round, but the first half was so poor, Richard. The fans were booing, and rightly so, because it lacked any type of energy. But the second half has been much, much better, and they certainly are still pushing for that equaliser. Whether they'll get it or whether they can get it and better it, only time will tell. But Kilmarnock have been resolute. They've defended extremely well, and they've defended in numbers, and they've kept the chances down to a minimum. You know, really the chances have been scrappy chances where the ball fortunately has fallen for Aberdeen, but unfortunately they've not managed to find the back of the net. That's why Aberdeen are still a goal down here at Pittodrie.
And if Kilmarnock can hold on to that lead, they will leapfrog both Dundee and St Mirren in the Premiership table, and just as importantly, they will end that terrible run that they have been on. No wins in the last 9 league matches. In the SWPL this afternoon, wins for Celtic, for Glasgow City, a draw Montrose Hibernian. It's currently Motherwell 0, Hearts 2 and Rangers 2. Partick Thistle 0. Details of all those matches at the website bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. In England, it was Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 3, Forest 3, Spurs 0, Sunderland 1, Newcastle 0, West Ham 2, Aston Villa 3, Brentford and Leeds is the 4:30 kick-off. The Celtic players clearly very eager to get up and running again. They're already back out for the second half, just waiting for Saints to re-emerge. Going to be a busy week ahead, incidentally, and tomorrow night live on Sports Sound, Rangers against Hibernian. Wednesday night live on Sports Sound, Dundee United against Celtic, and you can get the highlights both nights at 10:40 on the BBC Scotland channel. Thursday night will be live as Aberdeen round off their Conference League campaign with the away game, their 6th game in the group, or in the league at least, against Sparta Prague. So live action to come in the week ahead. The St Mirren players just going through their final little half-time warm-up that they do as they come back out, and now making their way out onto the pitch, Kevin Clancy, the referee, waiting there alongside the Celtic players. The action is about to get up and running. Second half live commentary with Stephen Thompson, Pat Bonner, Liam McLeod.
St Mirren contesting their 10th major final as they chase their 5th major honour. 3 Scottish Cups and that solitary League Cup triumph in 2013. They've contested the League Cup final just 3 times before this one, losing their first 2 against Aberdeen and Rangers before getting over the line as they kick off the second half against Celtic, who are looking for their 23rd success. St Mirren going right to left in the black and white stripes, Celtic in the green and white hoops from left to right towards the east end, Toryglen end. St Mirren shooting towards Mount Florida in the second half as Hatate clears his lines. No changes for Saints. Of course, Celtic were forced to make a change in the first half with Iheanacho replaced by Kenny, which wasn't ideal given the performance of the Nigerian before he had to go off. Gogic giving it away, and it's McGregor with a long ball looking for Kenny. And it sails out for a throw-in on this near side to St Mirren, who have George in goal, Fraser, King, Freckleton, Gogic, McMenamin, Phillips, Bacchus and John, and Lundaloo and Ayunga. Celtic with Schmeichel in goal, Ralston, Trusty, Scales, Tinekti and Tierney either side, McGregor, Engels, Maida, Tinekti and Kenny. And let's go to Willie Miller, because there's been a goal just about the last 10 minutes of the game at Pittodrie.
There is, yeah, for Aberdeen as well. Balalovic has managed to get on the end of it. Really slick build-up play. Kevin Nisbet, although it will be checked for offside. My instinct was that Kevin Nisbet had moved just too quickly, but it was a really well worked goal. We still wait for that decision whether Nisbet was offside or not, but a great build-up play down the left-hand side, hits the byline, Nisbet hits the byline, puts it across the face. My instinct is rotten. The goal has been given. 1-1.
He's come from nowhere, Kenan Bilalovic, to score that one. The young Swede makes it 1 apiece with his first Aberdeen goal at Pittodrie, in the only Premiership match taking place today. Is a long ball for St Mirren, or Celtic rather, sails behind for a St Mirren goal kick. Just a couple of minutes into the second half. St Mirren had scored by this point of the first half. It was always going to be difficult to replicate that as these two try and settle into this second period. But it's going to be very interesting to see if we get something similar to what we witnessed in the first half in this second.
Yeah, it'd be hard to replicate that first half, Liam, in all honesty. It was a brilliant game of football. Obviously St Mirren starting very, very strong, and then Celtic's reaction was superb coming back into the game.
A header by Phillips for St Mirren to Nlundaloo, midway inside the Celtic half. Can't control, cleared by Ralston. High ball into the Saints half. Might break Johnny Kenny's way here. So he tries to hold off King. He's done well. He swivels, turning it, looking for Hatate, cut out by Freckleton. Ralston for Celtic. Cushion ball out to this near side for Tenecti. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. By Freckleton. Stephen Robinson is furious for that decision.
There wasn't a lot in it, I can tell you that.
And he was away as well, down this left-hand side. Was Freckleton. As McGregor gets himself caught in a fan call. One back by Phillips. Now Bacchus for Saints to Freckleton for Phillips. Under pressure from McGregor, desperate to atone for his error. And then out to this near side. The referee's going to give St Mirren a free kick here. Phillips was fouled. And Declan John can make nothing of the advantage. So St Mirren have a chance to load the box here with a free kick about level with the edge of the D of the Celtic penalty area.
Yeah, it's been a really scrappy start from Celtic, isn't it? They've given the ball away, they've knocked it long at times to nobody, and that now they've given away a free kick, and as you say, a very, very dangerous position. And
it's not a free kick either, I have to say. Killian Phillips absolutely buys it, but it is a really, really good position for St Mirren, exactly what they play for, these type of situations.
Chance then for Declan John, who's got an excellent left foot on him. Tenecti stands in a one-man maul for Celtic. And this is a brilliant opportunity for Saints. Celtic have everyone back behind the ball to defend this free kick, which is put in by John. What a ball! Oh, what a chance for Gogic, he's missed it. Still alive on the far side. Crossed by Ayunga, blocked. Shout for a handball, which the referee's not interested in. And it's cleared. But my goodness, Gogic seemed to duck under the cross that came in.
He was inches from it, wasn't he?
Absolutely, it was a great ball. And you know, nobody went and tracked Gogic from Celtic's perspective. They let him run now. Whether he was offside or not, I'm not sure. But he just missed it by a couple of inches. Otherwise, it was in the back of the net.
St Mirren have it wide on the right. Ayunga, short ball. Bacchus controls with the undersole and crosses in. It's very deep, flicked away by Ralston. John picks it up on this near side for Saints. Short ball here in the near side for Freckleton, but he was offside. It'll be a free kick to Celtic, and it will stay one apiece as we approach the 50-minute mark.
I mean, it just shows, you know, Fardy was talking about it at half-time. St Mirren are always in this game with the threat that they have, especially from set plays and with the strikers they have at the top end of the pitch. It was a fabulous ball in from Declan John. I mean, he is centimetres from making contact from that cross was Alec Gogic.
Celtic have it on the left-hand side with Liam Scales in the St Mirren half. Rolls it infield for Engels. It's not, or rather Kenny, it's not a great touch by him. St Mirren come away with it.
He's got to do better than that, Johnny Kenny. And that was what we talked about Iheanacho. I think that's a big blow for Celtic to lose him, because he looked as if he was fired up and he was doing all the right things, holding it up, and that then allowed players to make decisions to support him. If you don't get a hold of the ball, then you're hesitating.
Celtic on the ball with Trusty, just outside the centre circle. Low ball forward to Kenny, pushes it back to Trusty. Really congested in there, but he's managed to spring. Johnny Kenny rolls it out to this right side for Tenecti, and he's got support from Hatate. Rolls it to Rio Hatate, and then turn it back to McGregor towards the halfway line. Forward to Engels, under pressure from Phillips, turns away from him and spreads the play to Scales. Left central area, Scales, it's opened up for him. With the right boot, he's looking for Tierney. He was anticipating a ball with the left, I think, and too much on it, and he goes behind for the goal kick to St Mirren, and it comes to nothing. Liam Scales getting a bit of dogs from the Celtic supporters behind us here.
Yeah, it was a simple pass. He just hit it with his right foot, which isn't his good foot, and knocked it out of play. But again, a 2v1 and that wide left position that Celtic are really exploiting well today, and it was an opportunity for them.
Jamal George then with the goal kick, takes it from the centre of the 6-yard box, long with the right foot into the Celtic half, flicked on by Ayunga. Scales gets onto it and finds Ralston, who hammers it up into the air. It's off the head of King into the Celtic half. It's a little bit scrappy at the moment. Stanekty collects on this near side. He's under pressure from Declan John, who puts it out for a Celtic throw-in down below us. And it sounds as though a penalty's been awarded in the match at Pittodrie. Last time we checked, remember, one apiece, Willie Miller.
Yes, it's been given to Aberdeen and it's been converted. Carlson stuck it into the back of the net. Rather controversial arm ball that went to VAR. Referee gave the penalty, VAR gave the penalty. Carlson step up, put it to his left-hand side, buried it into the back of the net to give Aberdeen a lead here at Pittodrie, 2-1.
Kilmarnock have led for so long in the match. 2 quick-fire goals for Aberdeen have turned the tables. That search for a victory might have to go on for Killie. Here in the League Cup final, it's 1-1, approaching the 53-minute mark. Brian Kerr down there with Stephen Robinson. I know what they are making of what they've seen in the second half so far as Trusty collects the ball, takes the touch, and Lundaloo with the pressure, and was behind for the goal kick to Celtic. St Mirren fans are appealing for someone should have spotted a handball in there. Anyway, it's play on, and it's with the Tate. It's been pretty even since the break.
Yeah, Celtic have not started this second half well. They've been a wee bit sloppy in possession.
It's back with Trusty here, anchoring the team, everyone apart from Schmeichel ahead of him. Trusty rolls it forward across the halfway line in the centre circle for Kenny. He goes back to Trusty. Trusty side foot to Maida, out to Scales on the left-hand side. Scales looking for teammate in space. He finds Tierney now. It's Maida, works it back to Scales. Good build-up by Celtic. Back to Tierney. The cross comes in, takes a deflection behind for the corner. Celtic's best period of passing in the second half. Saints 1, Celtic 1 remains the scoreline, but it is a corner kick to the holders.
Yeah, they've mixed their crosses up today, Celtic. Obviously Tierney's the one that laid on the goal, that in sort of almost kind of an inverted position, and he's bending it in with that left foot, and Scales from wider area, and that time I think Maeda linked up with him, so it was good play from Celtic to get their corner.
To be taken on the far side. And it's an opportunity for Engels. In it comes, it's punched away by George. Headed back across by Scales, still alive as it bobbles back to George, who holds on despite Maida's best efforts, and it stays Saints 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, it's good goalkeeping because the ball swirls right in on top of him. He's got to get something on it. He manages to do that and clear the danger, but then Scales just keeps it alive right on the byline, but Maida couldn't make anything of it.
Into the air from Jamal George, across the halfway line, helped on its way by McMenamin. Now it's Ayunga looking for McMenamin. Tierney's there though, just closed the door on the Northern Irishman. And it's knocked out for a throw-in on the far side for St Mirren. We are in this game for sure. This is a battle. The Celtic are going to retain the trophy and have to come out the other side of that battle. Killian Phillips with a long throw for Saints over on the north stand side on the Saints right. And a chance again to get this into the mixer. Phillips towards the touchline, he bowls it into the box, bounces off a Celtic head, and McGregor clears with the left foot. Freckleton controls it and then launches it down this left side, looking for Declan John. He's going to get onto it here, down by the byline. Plays it off Ralston and out for a throw into St Mirren, about level with the Celtic penalty spot on this near side.
Yeah, I've got to say St Mirren I think started off well in the second half. They've been in Celtic's half and they're creating a couple of nice balls across that 6-yard box, no takers, but they're getting into positions now where they can use their strength. A couple of long throws into the box. It's all about not just the first ball getting contact, it's a second phase where it drops.
In from Bacchus, the long throw into the box. It's headed for goal, but it's a comfortable take there. I think Freckleton got his head onto it, but it's straight through to Schmeichel. And it stays St Mirren 1, Celtic 1. A cup final in the balance. Maida goes down and wins the free kick. pretty much bang on the halfway line.
Yeah, it was one of those occasions that Paki doesn't like when Schmeichel does the half volley kick out, but this time it was effective to Maeda. He linked the play well and managed to get turned, and then I think just crowded out by bodies. Eventually the foul was given.
Yeah, listen, it's a good weapon if you can execute.
If it's accurate, yeah.
You know, and if you don't execute properly, then you're putting your team under pressure, because he does it really quickly.
Austin Trusty for Celtic, right of the centre circle, rolls it to Ralston on the near side. Back to Trusty. Hitate's gone down under the challenge of Gogic. The ref's allowing Celtic an advantage. McGregor, side foot ball to Maeda. To the left for Scales. Now it's Tierney. Skipping in fields at the edge of the box. Shoots and blocked there by McMenamin. And play on, despite the Saints player going down. It's a chance inside the box here for Maeda. Just got away from him though. Gogic has at the edge of his own box. Back it comes to Freckleton, who lumps it clear. Comes off McGregor's toe, but it's fallen for him. Loondeloo scampers across the halfway line. He's on his own at the moment. Ayunga and Bacchus trying to get up and support. He's overcrowded, but he'll settle for the throw-in on the near side. At least it keeps him in camped inside the Celtic half. One apiece. It's now with Bacchus. He's gone for goal. It's taken a little nick, but it's an easy take for Kasper Schmeichel on this occasion to approach the 58-minute mark of the League Cup final. St Mirren 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, this game can go any way. Can it? Next team that scores the goal is going to be the one that's going to be difficult to take it off them, because both teams trying to get forward to create something.
Foul by Bacchus on Engels. Free kick Celtic just outside the centre circle in the Saints half. McGregor takes it quickly to Tierney to his left and out to the touchline for Scales, who nicks it in field to Engels. Resisted the temptation to play it back to the overlapping Scales. It's back into the centre circle with Trusty. Finds Hatate, gets it to McGregor. Phillips has gone down. Celtic will play on. The ref's not giving St Mirren anything. Scales pulls it back and it's cleared by Marcus Fraser. Engels on the far side. The challenge comes and the free kick's given for Celtic, level with the St Mirren penalty spot on the far side. It was a clumsy looking challenge by Ayunga over there on the north stand side. Celtic with a chance now to get the ball into the Saints box.
Yeah, the St Mirren fans aren't happy because they felt as though there was a foul just 20 seconds earlier on Killian Phillips, and on that occasion Ayunga gets back, tries to put pressure on Engels. There wasn't a huge amount in it, but probably just enough for Kevin Clancy to give the free kick in a dangerous position now for Celtic.
It is a dangerous position. This could be whipped in right into that corridor between the goalkeeper and the penalty spot. And it's going to be Arne Engels to take it. These tend to be over the set pieces for Celtic as they look to go in front on the hour mark, just about 1-1. St Mirren this time with everyone behind the ball. Big moments in cup finals. Engels takes and it comes. It breaks off a St Mirren defender in the 6-yard box and away.
Yeah, I think it just broke off his back, didn't it?
I didn't know much about it.
But it's so important to get your body in the way of the cross, because if you don't get a contact on it, your goalkeeper's under severe pressure.
It was a good turn over on the far side by Trusty, but it just dribbled over the line, and that will be a St Mirren throw-in over on the far side. We've played an hour of the League Cup final, one apiece, and in the melting pot, Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Like right now, Celtic are having more of the ball, but they're not really managing to create clear opportunities like they did in the first half. In this second half, and St Mirren are always, as we keep mentioning in this game, they'll keep plugging away and trying to get their free kicks and throw-ins and cross balls higher up the pitch.
And a keenly contested showpiece here under the lights at Hampden Park. Trusty gets it from Scales and shifts it out to Ralston on the right hand side in the St Mirren half and onto the touchline for Terekti. Wilfred Nancy down there frantically gesticulating to his players, and he's frustrated that they're not listening to him. Trusty plays it to McGregor. In a game like this, it's so difficult to get your message across, I would imagine, if you're a manager down there. As Celtic push the ball forward, it breaks kindly for Freckleton. He goes back to his keeper. George clears. Phillips controls on the chest, finds Gogic. Then it breaks to Bacchus, and then back the way in The ball was too much strength on it for Lundaloo on the near side and goes out to a Celtic throw-in.
Opportunity for him though if he had to pick that ball up, because he had all the space in the world to drive forward into, because I think it was I'm trying to see who the wing back is, but he's high up the pitch. It's obviously and they don't have a full back, so that space was there for him to exploit.
Ball's clear by Freckleton into the Celtic half, and Lundaloo heads on. Ayunga leaps up, controls on the chest, but when it dropped to his foot, McGregor was there to win it back for Celtic. Maida out-muscled by Marcus Fraser in the centre circle. Fraser rolling it out to the left for Declan John, who darts forward. Hattati tries to get back at him and did enough to put him off, to go straight to Ralston. John tries to win it back. The referee blows the whistle though. A foul on the Celtic player by Bacchus, and that's a free kick to Celtic. And it's finished at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1. The wait goes on for Killie, 11 without a win now. Aberdeen's recent renaissance continues, though, to come from a John Jules goal behind to do so. And the Swedes, Bilalovic and Carlson, the latter with a penalty, and it's finished Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1 in the Premiership. Here comes Celtic, dig ball forward looking for Engels, and it skips away from him behind for the goal kick. 62.5 on the clock. St Mirren 1, Celtic 1.
Just wonder whether or not Wilfred Nancy, I mean, Stephen Robinson will be really pleased with how St Mirren are going in this second half, but Celtic have lost a wee bit of the zip and their threat in the final third. Will he look to his bench soon because things aren't coming off for them?
They've not looked anywhere near as dangerous since Iheanacho went off.
No,
and that's a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so, and it's just that they can't play the same ball into his feet and then get runners going and supporting him, and that's the big difference.
Kenny can't control, and it's Freckleton knocking it forward to Bacchus. Bacchus driving forward, McGregor nicks it off, and the Saints fans felt that McGregor fouled the Aussie. Saints win it back anyway within Lundaloo on this near side. Short ball out to the touchline for Freckleton, looking for space to cross. Low ball into the area for Lundaloo, gets onto with his back to goal, finds Goggins. Chance in the air for Ayunga, who heads it home, and the flag stayed down. And St Mirren have their lead back. Jonah Ayunga sends the black and white part of Hampden into ecstasy here, looping the header over Schmeichel. A static Celtic defence, and it is St Mirren 2, Celtic 1, and does history beckon for Renfrewshire and for the town of Paisley this afternoon?
Well, I mean, you've got to say, from St Mirren's point of view, excellent. They keep the ball alive. I think it's Gogic that pokes it up with the outside of his foot towards the back post, and Ayunga's got the easiest of headers into an empty net. Celtic all over the place defensively here. I mean, it really is criminal from him. Initially it's Lundaloo, pops it back to Gogic, he flights it into the air to the back post. Nobody is picking up Ayunga. Schmeichel comes off his line, which then leaves his goal wide open, and it's the easiest header you'll ever see.
Lovely little ball in though, wasn't it, from Gogic, and just flicked with the outside of his foot into the space. Tierney outnumbered at the back post.
Should Schmeichel be coming there?
Yeah, well, this is the point. Does he come? Does he not come? I think he came and he's in no man's land.
He is.
And that's the problem then. It's the empty net for him just to head the ball over him and into the back of the net. And yeah, listen, I did say the team that's going to get the next goal, I would say they're real favourites now. What have we got left? 25 minutes. I know Celtic has always been come back into this, but St Mirren, second half, I think they've been very good. You know, and you did say Celtic are off it a little bit in the second half, not the same intensity.
Well, for Stephen Thompson in 2013, read Jonah Ayunga in 2025. St Mirren's second goal in the League Cup final. Ayunga with his biggest goal in his Saints career. It's just his third of the season, but it's given Saints the lead back. And now Celtic have to respond again with 25 of the 90 to play as they come forward down the left, low ball in, comfortable take for Shamal George at the right hand side of his 6-yard box. James McFadden's watching this one alongside us in the gantry this afternoon. James, a huge moment in this cup final.
It's massive, and St Mirren have been really good this second half. They've managed to get the ball forward, they get bodies forward, and you know, the pressure's told. I think the cross from Gogic is outstanding outside the right boot, and maybe just the fact that it's a loopy one catches Kasper Schmeichel out, because I agree, when you come, if you're coming, you have to go and get it. But Ayunga, in the right place to head the ball into the back of the net. And you have to say, you know, St Mirren have started the second half very bright. Celtic still look to hit their stride, and need to see a reaction again from Celtic. Do they have it in them to go up the tempo again?
If Celtic are going to get their hands on the trophy, and for the trophy to be clad in green and white ribbons, they're going to have to win the fight. They're going to have to fight and scrap for this, because St Mirren are all about that. As Celtic come forward down the left, across some Scales, cut out, they're out for a throw-in on the far side for the holders, who's gripping the trophies under incredible pressure now. McGregor rolls it back to Trusty, left of the centre circle, square ball there for Ralston, who feeds it out to Tenecti on this near side. Defeat is unthinkable for Wilfred Nancy today. First Celtic manager to lose his opening 2 games. And Celtic get a free kick in the centre circle for a foul by one of the St Mirren players.
He's going to need to watch. Careful. Yeah, he's going to need to watch.
Big switch Celtic out to Scales, wide on the left, gets the cross ball in, and it lands on the roof of Shamal George's net, over the bar. Goal kick St Mirren, and there's just a quarter of this cup final to be played here, and Stephen Robinson could be about to taste greatness as he stands on the edge of his technical area.
Just defend properly, throw everything in front of Celtic in these next 25 minutes, and you've made history. I think he's going to take Olundulu off, because he cannot afford a man getting sent off. I've just seen Mandron coming back in from a warm-up, which makes sense.
Yeah, he was booked after the half-time whistle. Olundulu, as George takes the goal kick, long with the right foot, 68 on the clock, 2-1 St Mirren. Scales rolling it out to Tierney on the left-hand side, and back to Scales. Now it's with Engels. Flips the ball out to this near side. Ralston controls and boots it up into the air, and out it goes for the throw-in. And that is exactly what Celtic do not need. Saints fans off to our left, that little horseshoe off to our left in the south stand and into the west will be absolutely loving this. Quite the opposite for 3/4 of the stadium clad in green and white. Lost their last cup final here when they were beaten by Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup showpiece in May. And they are losing this one. And St Mirren are going to make a double change here. Mikael Mandron is certainly coming on. I think Celtic are going to look to their bench. Jayden Richardson's also going to come on for Saints. Their double change. Celtic are going to bring on James Forrest, who's just returned to fitness. And I think it might well be Luke McCowan, who's the other one, who's going to come on. We'll get confirmation of that shortly.
Well, he definitely needs to make, Wilfred Nancy needs to make changes. He needs to sharpen his team up a little bit. They've lost their momentum. They lost their energy in the second half that they had in the first half. Even when they're getting into good positions, they're not getting the crosses now into the box that they were getting earlier. And St Mirren now are high in confidence, working really, really hard for each other.
Well, here come the subs. Celtic have a man down, Ralston, I think it is, who's down there, and Olundulu was involved again. He's just about to come off, but albeit it was fairly innocuous.
Yeah, it was just a clash of heads. I think there was 3 players involved, and they got sandwiched in the middle. Yeah, he's got a sore one. He's down.
So McCowan and Forrest coming on. James Forrest has won this trophy 8 times, scored in a few of these finals. Celtic are looking to their most decorated player to try and dig them out of a hole here. Luke McCowan coming on as well for Saints. Richardson and Mandron waiting to come on too, as Tierney comes over to speak to his manager. There's less than 20 minutes to play. Tierney's coming off.
Yeah, I think he's been their best player.
Certainly in the first half, he was outstanding. He's not been involved in the second half. St Mirren have kind of got to grips with that overload down the left. It's not been as effective.
Well, that's the first of the Celtic changes. Forrest is waiting to come on. Nobody's won more winners' medals than that man. Both he and Callum McGregor sitting on 8 League Cup winners' medals. So the Saints change before Forrest comes on. It's Mandron for Olundulu. And they're having to sort Anthony Ralston's right eye by the looks of things, similar to Dyson Maida's injury that he picked up in the recent league game against Dundee when he scored the winner.
Yeah, it looked like they were gluing it there. There must be a cut.
And Jayden Richardson is going to come on for St Mirren. He's going to replace McMenamin and Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think McMenamin's put an awful lot into this game, and you know what's coming now from Celtic in these last 20 minutes. Richardson will bring you that pace. He's a more natural defender than McMenamin is, so that's understandable. Alundlu, as we'd highlighted, had been on that yellow card, involved in a couple of challenges, and I think it's probably just about right from the manager to bring him off. He's played well in the game.
Tenecti off to be replaced by Forrest. Looks like Colby Donovan's going to come on for Ralston as well, so try to fix Ralston's eye up to continue, but he's having to be replaced by Donovan, so a triple change in the end up for Celtic. But in the sands of time, we're slipping away. We move towards we're into the final 18 minutes of this cup final. Remember earlier, Aberdeen 2, Kilmarnock 1 in the Premiership to come tomorrow. It's Rangers of Burnley in full coverage here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland. Celtic go to Tannadice on Wednesday. What kind of state are they going to be in for that? And St Mirren launch the ball from Bacchus' long throw into the Celtic box. Hatate trying to do a bit of defending there. St Mirren all over it. Mandron with his first involvement in the game puts it across, but they go straight through to Schmeichel, who slips. He's given it away, but has he been fouled? Yes, he has. Kevin
He's not been fouled. He has not been touched.
Well, Bacchus has picked the ball up at the edge of the box with Schmeichel on the deck, and that goal unguarded.
Well,
Bacchus can't believe it.
Really interested to see this back, if there's any connection here. Let's tell. There is not.
He slipped.
That is
oh my goodness.
Embarrassing from Kevin Clancy.
Clancy, the referee, stopped play.
Yeah.
Because Schmeichel's gone down, he's slipped. He's gone down as if he's injured himself. St Mirren are surely allowed to play on there.
Yeah, and there's that side volley again that he tries when there's all players around about him, and he's very lucky. He's so lucky to get away with that.
Did the whistle go? Is that why St Mirren stopped playing?
Apparently did catch him. Richard's just flagging up. He's maybe seen another.
I think he caught the player.
Schmeichel's foot, planted foot, goes onto the edge of his boot. He did not catch him.
Well, it's a contentious moment there for the St Mirren supporters who boo Kevin Clancy, but if there has been the slightest of touch, then the referee will have made the correct decision there. But anyway, we'll find out in the fullness of time how costly it could or could not have been. And that's a dreadful ball by Engels. He's sold McGregor short. Now St Mirren have it with Bacchus. Rolls it to Mandron. Over on there, Ayunga. Mandron's waiting in the middle. It's Ayunga level with the 6-yard line in the Celtic box down at the byline. He slips this time, and he was behind for the goal kick. Mandron waiting on the 6 for a pullback there. It's a goal kick to Celtic. It's 2-1 to St Mirren, and the clock's on just about 75 minutes here as the rain begins to tumble down again.
Well, it's going to be quite a bit of added time after that wait and the substitutions and injury to Ralston.
Celtic have it with Trusty, walking pace, rolls it out to that left-hand side for McCowan. Back to Trusty. Forward it comes to Arnott Engels. Good block there by Freckleton, when it breaks to McGregor for Celtic. Scampering up towards the edge of the St Mirren box, Callum McGregor runs into Marcus Fraser, who blocks him, and now it's Bacchus pushing it forward to Mandron. Back with Freckleton, who launches it long, and Declan John's running in behind here. Declan John's got the goal ahead of him. Can he make it into the box? He has done now. Chance to shift it to his right, and it's in! It's another for St Mirren, and it's another for Ayunga! And a quite incredible afternoon this is turning out to be for Stephen Robertson and his players, because Ayunga has just given them a 2-goal lead against the mighty Celtic here at Hampden, and a second League Cup triumph is now in the palm of their hand. Wilfred Nancy looks on, beleaguered, because his team are on the brink of a cup final defeat here. It is incredibly St Mirren 3,
again, defensively all over the place, completely disjointed. There's one ball over the top, a superb run from Declan John. He carries the ball a long distance as he tries to bear down and go. Mandron's to his right, you're thinking, lift your head, lift your head. He does a wee check, rolls it into Mandron's path. Ayunga is it, sorry, and he couldn't miss. Absolutely sensational.
Yeah, beautiful goal from their perspective. Terrible from Celtic. A lovely bit of play by Declan John at the end, up a bit of composure. He was running out of legs. He just checked back and laid it into the path of Ayunga. And but from Celtic's perspective, all over the place in this final. Obviously, pushing players forward, no structure to them, and they end up exploiting the spaces that Celtic left. And this is now running away from Celtic.
Well, the TV cameras lasered in on Peter Lawwell there, the Celtic chairman, his face screwed up. And again, Callum McGregor's over talking to Wilfred Nancy. Callum McGregor hadn't lost a cup final ever in his career at youth or senior level until this year, but Celtic are staring down the barrel of back-to-back cup final defeats here. 3-1 down with 12 and a half minutes to play. And Declan John is going to be replaced by Scott Tanser for what's left of this match. And John had a big say there, but for Jonah Ayunga, there's not too many St Mirren players have written their name into the club's history books. There's a man to my left certainly has, but for Isma Gonçalves, Stephen Thompson, Connor Newton, Ian Ferguson, all these guys who have done so, Jonah Ayunga is now on the brink of becoming a St Mirren legend, as his teammates are.
Absolutely, every single one of them, Liam. We spoke before the game about the performance level having to be so high from St Mirren, and you've got to say they've delivered. And Jonah Ayunga especially, a double in a final against Celtic, unbelievable.
Saints have it down that right-hand side with Richardson. He's beaten to it, and Celtic have got to launch an almighty act of resurrection here to try and even get back into this, to even force the closing stages of this cup final to be competitive. Long ball for them. There's an offside flag anyway against Kenny, and it comes right through to Shamal George. Nancy standing, blinking, looking out at the pitch in front of him, staring into what must be a footballing abyss.
But like, there's no structure defensively now for Celtic at all, if you look at them.
There's Maida, it's the cross in, chance for Hatate, might break to James Forrest here, pulls it back, but it's gone straight to Gogic inside his own box, and Gogic clears. Let's get a word with James McFadden just now before Celtic launch their next attack. What a position Celtic find themselves in, but what a position Saints do.
Yeah, wow, from St Mirren. Second half, I thought they started really well. And again, they know that when they go in front, they're going to have to take a bit of pressure. But it's always what they do when they win the ball back. They have so much confidence in their structure that when they win it back, where can they hurt the opposition? Declan John's runs outstanding. Presence of mind to get his head up, not go for glory and square it. And Ayunga with a lovely finish beyond Kasper Schmeichel's got no chance. And this has been a perfect performance from St Mirren so far, you have to say.
Yeah, well, the guys were talking before a ball was kicked today that they'd have to be 8 out of 10 across the team. I think they pretty much have been, haven't they, Tomo?
Yeah, it's hard to think of anybody that's not put in an unbelievable performance this afternoon, and we knew that's what it was going to take for St Mirren to lift the trophy. You have to say in this second half, first half started the game really well, then we're a wee bit under severe pressure and had to see it out, getting it one each at half time. But in this second half, been a better team.
Well, as Stephen knows only too well, Ryan Stevenson scored a goal in the closing, I think it was 6 or 7 minutes, to make it a nervy end for St Mirren in 2013 with the second of his goals for Hearts. Ayunga is coming off, and I mean what a night he's going to have if they see this out. And what a moment it is, Stephen, for young Evan Mooney who's coming on.
Yeah, a great moment. Good to see the wee man getting on the pitch. Really talented young forward, big future in the game, works ever so hard, and he'll get the last 10-15 minutes.
And given what's going on in the last week, this is the problem that Celtic have, is that nobody will be surprised at the outcome. Mooney's on the ball already, left-hand side of the Celtic box, rolls it back to Tanser, bends the ball, and can it get even better for St Mirren here? The header at the back post isn't great. The flag's gone up anyway from
Yeah, it was
Mooney was offside ages ago.
Yeah, ages ago, and it took so long for them to stick the flag up. But you know, again, Celtic really struggling. I'm looking at we talked about the back three and the back four and all of these type of things. But you've got Scales pushed up on the left hand side. Now you've got Donovan kind of almost pushed up on the right hand side. You're left with one defender and everybody else.
Yeah.
So there is no real structure to that I can see.
Austin Trusty up to the halfway line, forward to Engels, first time ball out to the left for Scales. Celtic's hopes of winning this final on life support here. McCowan infield looking for Scales at the angle of the box. Was Engels. St Mirren trying to get it clear. Chance for Engels, left angle of the Saints box, moving into a more central position. He shoots over the bar and it stays. St Mirren 3, Celtic 1. What a scoreline!
It's desperate stuff from Celtic there. I mean, they're really struggling to be able to puncture this St Mirren rearguard, who are so incredibly well drilled and disciplined, and eventually Engels trying to curl one off balance from 25 yards. I mean, it's come to that. Desperation for Celtic.
Stephen Robinson has only beaten Celtic once in 31 previous attempts, but this would make all his endeavours over the years, both as St Mirren and Motherwell manager, worthwhile, as Maida picks up. You know, there's time, there's hope for Celtic, but it's 83 minutes just about played. St Mirren leading 3-1. Engels to McCowan on the far side. He's midway inside the St Mirren half. Rolls it into a central position here for James Forrest, looking for someone on the overlap, which he gets from Donovan, who shoots. What a save!
What a save!
What a save from Jamal George! That's arrowing into the bottom left corner, and George at full stretch tips it behind for the corner. And even Pat Bonner will be doffing his cap for that.
Yeah, because he hit it so quickly. You know, it was just laid into his path and he hit it on the run. And the goalkeeper could be forgiven for being taken sort of unawares, but he didn't. He was set and he dived square to the path of the ball and got a great hand on it to tip it around the post. And that's the second big save in this game from a goalkeeper. You've got to win things, the goalkeeper's got to play well as much as everybody else.
Outstanding from Jamal George. Said in the first half, you're going to have to make big saves against Celtic if you're going to beat them. And he's come up with two. One in the first half from Iheanacho, and there from Colby Donovan. Celtic corner as the clock continues to tick away from the holders.
Yang's on for Engels there as well. Just when that ball was at the plate.
Change has been made. In from McCowan's dreadful corner. It's headed back out to him though by Bacchus. Here is Forrest, left angle of the box. Throws it back to McGregor. McGregor at the edge of the area, there's no space to shoot. He finds Forrest, now it's back with Callum McGregor. Tries to reverse it out to McCowan, it's well read. St Mirren onto it with Richardson. McGregor gets onto the ball, but he can only put it behind for the goal kick from midway inside the St Mirren half. Celtic look bust. They look like a busted flush.
Well, they haven't created anything in the second half, have they? Really, you know, not inside that we talk about putting balls into the box, but they were doing it in the first half. Really good. Second half hasn't happened. I think the big change was when Iheanacho went off. There's no question. I think he was really dangerous. He was playing that centre forward position really well, coming to the ball, holding it up, taking players into the play, then getting into great areas when the cross come in. Second half, it doesn't look as if they've got any threat.
And St Mirren proving anything's possible this season as they win a free kick down on the near side. Man drawn, brought crashing to the ground by Hatate. And it's right on the touchline here, midway inside the Celtic half for St Mirren. We've got 5 minutes of the 90 left.
Plays into St Mirren's hands perfectly, this. Just running down the clock, wasting time.
Celtic need to have a grandstand finish. You're not going to have that when you're giving away free kicks.
Doesn't look likely. Penny for the thoughts of Wilfred Nancy. Penny for the thoughts of the Celtic board. If they had their time again, would they have stuck with Martin O'Neill for these 3 games that Nancy has presided over? If they're not careful, it could get worse for them here. Bacchus with a free kick. Clips it to the right-hand side of the box when it's headed down by Freckleton. Celtic clear through Hatate. Marcus Fraser, who got Saints first, heads it on. Over on that right-hand side, Mandron being played onside by Trusty. Takes it out towards the corner flag. Gets the nutmeg on Scales and cleared by McGregor. Well, they're showboating now. St Mirren on their way to their 5th major victory, 5th major cup lift in their history, which is only minutes away now.
And I've got to say, they've deserved it in the second half. They've deserved it. They've got their goals, good goals they were, really good goals, but they've not allowed Celtic to dominate the second half in any way, shape or form.
In comes the long throw into the Celtic box, which is cleared. It's now Forrest. They can't retain the ball, Celtic's given away, and Phillips picks it up now. It's Backus at the edge of the penalty area. Backus inside the D, no space to shoot. He's still got options though. Pokes it out to the right hand side. St Mirren try and find a way through. Richardson infield to Gogic, clips it to that right hand side, and it breaks down. Mooney can't keep it in play, and it goes behind for the goal kick to Celtic, but it's not been a matter of a jot really. 87 minutes played. Saints 3, Celtic 1. Down the left from Celtic, what have they got left? Many of their supporters have left Hampden already. They don't see a comeback. As Forrest plays at the edge of the box here, given away by Maida, and St Mirren have it back, and they've got Gogic driving forward. Shows too much of it to Trusty. Wins it back immediately, but his pass forward goes straight to McGregor. There'll be a decent chunk of additional time, I would have thought, so Celtic score now, you never know, but that save from Shamal George felt decisive there when he denied Donovan. As Ayunga's second half double has done. Scales pushing it infield to Forrest, he now charges forward. Little ball into the box, Maida, left hand side of it, dreadful touch by Dyson. Maida's allowed Richardson to get between he and the ball. Richardson digs it out, and out it goes for a Celtic throw in over on the far side. Bowled back by McCowan to McGregor. McGregor to Hatate, and then to Callum McGregor. Forward to Forrest, there's Hatate looking for Maida at the edge of the box. Again it breaks down.
Celtic in the final third in the second half have been absolutely abysmal. Abysmal. The amount of times they've given the ball away, their lack of creation, their lack of ideas. So bad.
Trusty out to this near side for Yang. First real touch of the ball since coming on for Yang. Chops infield away from Mandron, who closes the ground well. He's the big striker. Yang out to Donovan on the near side. Finds Hatate on the underlap. Down by the corner flag on the near side. He finds Donovan. Now Hatate. His ball's gone straight to Gogic. He wins it back now. It's Keanu Backus. He's got Mooney ahead of him, trying to stay onside. Backus slips in then. Right hand side up against Trusty. Saints of support getting up there. It's Mooney on the right foot. Saved by Schmeichel.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
The youngster. It stays Saints 3, Celtic 1 in the 90th minute at Hampden. And that would have won the cup for Saints. They're close enough anyway.
Just a really good strike, wasn't it? And it called for a good save from Schmeichel, but it should be Celtic just doing what St Mirren are doing in the last couple of minutes, trying to get back into this game. Would have been an incredible scoreline if that had to go in the back of the net.
When Stephen Robinson tucked himself up in bed last night, this is how he would have been desperate for the game to play out. The result he would have wanted, the performance he would have wanted, the silverware he would have wanted. He could scarcely have believed it would have gone almost completely and utterly to plan.
Yeah, 100%. He'd been sitting visualising what he wanted to see in the game from his players. He's probably just hoping his players would be able to take everything he'd imparted to them.
6 minutes added, we're into the first of them.
And training all through the week, building up to this game, and they've carried out the plan masterfully.
James Forrest playing it to Scales over on the left. And now infield to Forrest in the centre circle. As he shifts himself forward, finds Kenny, who plays it to Donovan on the right side. We feel the horse has bolted for Celtic though, as Hatate gets it from Forrest, central position, forward to McCowan, and there's Gogic again, albeit this time it's a free kick to Celtic. But this is about 25 yards from goal, maybe slightly further out than that, dead centre. As they eye up Shamal George's goal here. We played almost one of the 6 minutes of stoppage time that was added on at the end by referee Clancy. What can they make of it? Well, this has to go in. It's as simple as that.
It's getting that way, Liam.
It has to go in. And Luke McCowan is over it. George organising as well. Can McCowan get this up and down and on target and haul Celtic back into this? With the sands of time slipping through their fingers. McCowan waits, the boos and shrill whistles from the St Mirren fans up the other end of Hampden. Luke McCowan, who got the winner late on against Saints in the opening day in the league. Here he goes, left-footed, over the bar. And the roar from the St Mirren supporters, almost like they scored up the other end.
Is there any idea what Tati was doing there?
No.
I saw him crouched about 3 or 4 yards in front of the wall. It's not even putting the goalkeeper off. Is it giving a target for somebody? I don't know.
These St Mirren players, Stephen, so close, so very close.
But they've just got to keep it tight, Liam. They've got the cushion. They can afford to lose a goal.
Long from Jamal George, up into the air. And the Saints go marching in as the cry from those in black and white as Trusty blocks a ball that was certain to reach Bacchus. Midway inside the Celtic half, it's Yang on the near side, fouled by Gogic, free kick Celtic, still Stephen Robinson down there, irate with the decision, jumping and louping and bouncing around his technical area. Even at this point, even when I think everyone knows that the trophy's going to be in black and white ribbons. Here's Kenny at the edge of the box, and George is to make a save and puts it behind for the corner. 3 of the 6 minutes have been played at the end of this. Saints 3, Celtic 1.
Yeah, another good save, you've got to say. It took a deflection also, took it up into the top corner. You would expect him to save it, but he still had to move his feet and get there.
Yeah.
Celtic corner, McCowan over it on the far side. Outswinger in from Luke McCowan. It's headed away by Tanzer. Everyone's played a part for St Mirren. Those who've come off the bench have done as well. Here comes Celtic again. Trusty in the box, goes down, looking for a penalty. Gogic with the challenge. Gogic can't prevent the corner. Celtic corner. There's surely no time to score twice. They might manage to score once. There's surely not enough time left to score 2. In comes the corner, it's beaten everyone. Breaks out to this near side, and it's going to be a St Mirren free kick. The challenge in Freckleton, and it's going to be a free kick for St Mirren deep inside their own half. And they've only got 2 minutes left to see out, and then there'll be the mother of all parties in Paisley and surrounding towns and villages tonight. And Stephen experienced that himself 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was quite something. Lasted a couple of days, but I'm pretty sure the boys will do their own one tonight, and the supporters will absolutely love it. And they've deserved it, you know, in this final. I don't think they come into it, certainly not as favourites. Celtic, massive favourites to win this game. Even if they had lost their 2 previous matches and they were in a state of flux, they were still huge favourites. It's a massive upset, and St Mirren have deserved every second of this, and they're going to enjoy it for days, weeks, months, years to come.
Well, if they were in a state of flux, Celtic, before this game now, it's really, really incredible.
Big questions to be answered, Packet.
He's just in the door, but it's difficult to see how Wilfred Nancy recovers from this. It's Forrest at the edge of the St Mirren box. And then it's played out to Scales over on that left-hand side. Scales finds Forrest. We're in the final minute of the stoppage. It's the final minute of the finals. Bacchus, and then Richardson gets involved. Celtic get the cross in, flicked away by Tanzer. Yang picks up at the right angle of the box. It's played back to Trusty. And out to Yang on this near side. Up against Mandron. Finds McCowan. McCowan rolls it to Forrest. Back it comes to Yang. Chops onto his right side. He's going to shoot. He's going to shoot over. St Mirren 3, Celtic 1, and that is just about it. There's about 20 seconds left. Barely time to take this goal kick. And my goodness, they'll party long into the night, into tomorrow, in the week ahead. Stephen Robinson's taken off the training jacket. Marcus Fraser riling the troops down there. Stephen Robinson pointing to his watch, and the referee blows Scottish goals have beaten the holders and favourites to send Celtic into an almighty tailspin and write history, their own history. St Mirren Football Club are major cup winners again. Stephen Robinson has guided them to one of their most famous victories. 1926, 1958, 1987, 2013, and now 2025. A second League Cup win. And as in their first major honour, they've beaten Celtic to do so, plunging the country's dominant force over the last 14 years into crisis at the same time. Not that Wilfred Nancy's troubles or the Celtic board's problems or the Celtic supporters' tears are going to bother the Paisley Saints tonight. Robinson had said the one thing missing from his time at the club was a deep cup run. Well, they've gone all the way to glory, unbridled glory and joy for Paisley itself. To Elderslie and Erskine, from Bridge of Weir to Bishopton and Linwood to Lochwinnoch. This will be felt across the land in Renfrewshire. You can bet your last pound on that. What a night it's going to be. Marcus Fraser opened the scoring early on. Hatate equalised. But St Mirren at times played Celtic like a fiddle here at Hampden to win just their second League Cup. An incredible afternoon for them. Serious soul-searching for Celtic to come in the days, weeks and months ahead of them. Where does this leave their season? Stephen Robinson, St Mirren legend, celebrates with his players. And as one of Paisley's most famous and favourite sons once said, you used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy. The words of Jerry Rafferty ring true tonight because Saints made this look easy. It finished at Hampden. Glory, glory for St Mirren. Saints 3, Celtic 1.